Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I will call the meeting to order of the Select Board on February 3rd at 2:31 p.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Cal present.
Valerie Goodrich present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So sorry.
No, that is a good reminder for us all to turn
So
our
sorry.
phones to silence.
Mine is
So
on.
rude.
I would also like to thank at this time all of our veterans and all of those who are currently serving here and abroad, as well as our emergency response individuals here in our community and actually everywhere. All of our staff, as well as our elected and appointed officials and their families. Thank you all so much. The meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Is there anyone else recording the meeting? Hearing none. Chairman's additions or deletions? None to my knowledge. Is there?
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay.
We're in good shape.
Thank you. 1.5, review, approve the meeting minutes of January 6th and January 20th. Is there a motion?
Well, I have a question. Could we move, I know we had the 20th meeting minutes, but I haven't reviewed them.
Okay.
So can we move that to next week?
Are you good?
Yeah, that's fine.
The 6th I'm good with.
I reviewed them and changed the things I saw on the 20th.
Yeah, that's fine, but
Okay.
I just haven't, so.
Yeah. Push them to next week.
I
I'm
mean,
fine with
I
that.
appreciate the fact that they were there, and I did read the 6th, but I didn't have time for the
Okay.
20th.
Now, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January 6th, 2026.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any further discussion on January 6th? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye.
I'll have Sabrina put 120 on the 2:10 meeting agenda.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Do we have a time? Okay, we have 5 o'clock for the 2.1 and 6 o'clock for 2.2. Maybe go to 3.1 and start with the appointments.
Do we want to do those now? I know we have some folks joining us at
Yeah,
a
they're here.
specific time. And I know we're waiting for Adam to join us, but perhaps for the executive session, I think we were kicking that off at about 2:30. Though I know we're waiting on town council.
Right, we don't have that, so can we do anything before town council comes in?
Let's take a look at the question on the agenda here.
I know that Santiago's here at 3.4. She's on.
Do you want to sort of pick and choose because Santiago's here?
That's fine.
Yeah, if you want to appoint 3.4, if you want to visit 3.4, you could do that.
3.3.
She's 3.3
Sorry, looking at,
and 3.4 maybe. She's got 2 appointments today.
okay.
Oh, is Barb here too?
So that, yeah, right. If they're here, we can do it.
Yeah, if you got a couple of them, cherry pick them and
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy
say the
to.
people that are here, let's
I think-
just do
I
it.
think-
Absolutely.
Those were the two that Cindy said were intending to come, so.
Okay. I don't think Susan will be here, but if you want to skip it, that's fine.
I mean, I think the rest of them, I just knew that Yasmir, sorry if I'm pronouncing that right,
Yes, Mayor.
and Kelly were gonna be here, so, and they're both here.
And Harrison's here too, so we could do him.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say appoint those folks.
Why don't we do them individually because it's special?
Okay.
Can you just go to 3.3 first?
Valerie Goodrich moved to appoint Yasmir Santiago to the Commission on Disability effective February 3rd, 2026 until June 30th, 2029.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Not on this one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Yasmir, do you want to come on camera or no?
Hi. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for appointing me for the Commission on Disability. Hope I can help as much as I can.
Okay, thank you, Yasmir. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Might as well stay on. 3.4?
We have to vote.
I
Oh,
don't think we voted,
yes, we
right?
do.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin.
So that was 3.3. 3.4, while you're still on.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Yasmir Santiago to the Agricultural Commission effective February 3rd, 2026 until June 30th, 2029.
Veronica Kell, second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question about this.
Okay.
And it's to us and to Yasmir. For the Agricultural Commission, I didn't see any sort of agricultural background, Yasmir, on your volunteer response form. But I guess the question for the board is, are we looking for someone with agricultural experience? Or we appointed Cindy last time because she's keeping bees, I was told. So are we looking for that, or are we just looking for people who are willing to serve the community? That's my question.
Well, I think both, but Yasmir, do you want to speak to that? About your background that you may have? She's retired military as well.
I saw that on the form.
So, and in the Air Force. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have a educational background on agriculture, but I do have when I was studying architecture, we did have special programs, part of the architecture program, that we did have a lot on agriculture in general, landscaping, urbanism, but also as myself as a resident and a homeowner here in Townsend. I also had a mini farm of my own and always tried to keep up with all the regulations that we needed to have knowledge on. So I guess, hey, I'm willing to learn where I need to whatever I need to learn. And yeah, I'm just available to help as much as I can where I can. So I hope I can be part of the committee, and if I need to learn a little bit more and get a little bit more knowledgeable on the agriculture side, then I will definitely do that.
That's perfect.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Yasmir.
No worries. Thank you.
Ready to vote?
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you so much, and also thank you for your service to our country. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
I know that Adam has come in, but wow.
Let's do the
Kelly
Kelly
Bird,
is on.
Heritage.
and Harrison's here, so.
And what
Let's just do
number?
those
Okay,
two.
let's-
Harrison is 3-6 for the audit committee. Hopefully I got the right
I
number.
need my glasses.
A couple below
Yes, it
Yasmin.
is. 3.6. Hi, Harrison. Is there a motion, please? 3.6.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Harrison Wyatt to the Audit Committee effective February 3rd, 2026 until December 31st, 2026.
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you, Harrison.
Thanks.
Again, for volunteering. Appreciate it.
Anytime. And you do have Kelly Burke on here when the moment
Let's do
suits
that.
you.
And she is 3.8.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 3.8. Kelly, hi. Is there
Hi.
a motion?
Yep. I move to appoint Kelly Burke to the Commission on Disability effective February 3rd, 2026 until June 30th, 2029.
Is there-
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Kelly, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I went to Assumption University, graduated with a BA in psychology and social and rehabilitation services, then went on to work in human services and spent 21 years as a municipal employee for the towns of Sterling and Northborough. Actually, I had worked for about 18 months at the Townsend Council on Aging when it was over in the old Radio Shack building with Chris
Oh.
Klesch. And so that's how I stepped into older adult services and, had a great career. And now I work for the Massachusetts Councils on Aging, which is a membership organization for the 350 councils on aging across the state. So we do training and support.
Perfect.
Great. Any other questions?
Nope.
None. Well, thank you. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much, Kelly, for volunteering for this position. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. I think we have a commission on disability
Yeah, now we-
for the first
They
time
can-
ever.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, go get
So-
sworn in and go from there.
Yes, be sure to get sworn in down in the town clerk's office, okay, as soon as possible. And then, I'm sure that Cindy King will get a hold of you to get a first meeting going.
Or maybe
Okay.
Sabrina's the one that should be organizing that, just similar to capital thing, because there isn't
There isn't
chair.
one, no, there's nothing yet. They have to organize.
Yeah,
So, anyway, somebody will get a hold of you, but please come into town hall, town clerk's office, and be sworn in. Okay? Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
We're gonna shift to executive session. So as much as we'd love to have you stay with us, we may kick you off if that's okay.
That's okay. I understand.
Thank you.
thank you.
Hi, Adam. Hang in there. Okay, let me see. We are going to go to are we doing 7.1 first or
7.3.
7.3? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to move to enter into executive session at 2:43 p.m. And we will be returning after executive session.
Correct.
Pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, namely RFS Corporation, with Town of Townsend, Middlesex Superior Court Docket Number 258-1CV 02381, where an open meeting law may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the board, and the chair so declares. My lordship can do declare. Is there a second?
Second from Veronica Cal, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Are we just doing one and coming back, or are we doing the other two at all afterwards?
Do I read another one?
I think you could probably read
7.1?
7.1, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Also, I declare, pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, if an open meeting law may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and I do so declare, I, Laura Schifrin, do declare. It is for the ASME Local 93 Clerical Supervisors Union Highway Water Union. For a second.
Second, Veronica Cal.
Are we good now?
Good to go.
Okay. And so roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all very much.
For our friends at TCAM, we are going to come back. So we will be pausing for now. You can do what you need to do, and maybe I'll come down just as we're finishing up to reactivate. So. Hi, TCAM, can you hear us?
I don't think anybody but maybe.
All right, I think we're back. If TCAM can hear us, okay.
You can hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
For those that joined us, we had kicked off a little earlier for an executive session and we were back to the agenda.
Okay, so we are reconvening at 4:45 PM. I have a roll call for the reconvening of the meeting.
Veronica Kell, present.
Valerie Goodrich, present.
And Laura Schifrin, present. So we are going right to 3.3, appointments of officials and personnel, some of which have already been appointed when we first began the meeting. So, and I don't see anybody of the remaining that are here. Go ahead.
If it's okay with the board, I'm going to move to appoint multiple people, if like in one motion.
Okay, well, go
I
for
have
it.
no
Okay.
objection.
The ones that we have not
Valerie.
done yet. I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint the following individuals. Susan Gherkin to the Recycling Committee effective February 3rd, 2026 until June 30th, 2026. Sandra Lord as the Conservation Commission representative to the Community Preservation Committee effective February 3rd, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Sorry. Robert Drusilla as an at-large member to the Community Preservation Committee effective February 3rd until June 30th, 2029. Maria Milken as Historic District Commission representative to the Community Preservation Committee effective February 3rd, 2026 until June 30th, 2027. Sally Kovu as the Recycling Committee by setting the term, to correct the appointment of Sally Kuvila to the Recycling Committee by setting the term expiration to June 30th, 2026. Natalie Call as Veterans Service Officer, Veterans Agent effective February 7th, 2026 until February 7th, 2026.
2029.
2029, sorry. And to appoint firefighter paramedic Clayton Landry to the Fire EMS Department with effective start date March 2nd, 2026 until June 30th, 2036 with an applicable probationary period contingent upon successful completion of all employee requirements.
Is there a second?
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Just to clarify, the other appointments on the agenda we did before the executive session, and those individuals were present during those appointments.
And we did them individually.
There was a second.
There was a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call,
Veronica Kell, aye.
vote,
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
and Laura Schifrin, aye. And thank you to all those who have volunteered today. We were very happy to make all those appointments. Okay, 4.1. Valerie, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so my interest in putting this on the agenda is not necessarily to question, any one individual, but more as a statement of, I think this board has not been necessarily acting as efficiently as we could have and with the goals that we set in mind for the past, since this summer. And I don't fault any one individual, but I think you can see it in how long our meetings are taking at times, 6-7 hours. And we kind of are getting into the nitty-gritty details of some things and not going back to those goals that we set. And those seem to be getting lost to me. And I'm not sure the right course of action to take and if we can remedy that or start to steer the ship in a more precise direction. If that makes any sense. And this is in no way a statement on anybody's efforts. You guys all work so hard. We all work hard, and not a commitment to this board. It's just a question of, this is the best way to ask you guys if there's a way we can get a clearer direction from the board and maybe a little bit more efficient progress, if that makes sense. And feel free to ask me for details or specifics.
Well, I agree that we have really long meetings and they have continued even though we have a new town administrator. But I do think that there are efforts underway. As far as the goals go, we haven't gotten back to the goals since Nelson turned in his resignation at
Absolutely.
the beginning of December.
Mhm.
So I've kind of abandoned the goals, and I am the short timer here. I'm here only for 3 more months. So, I guess I would like to give Kieran more time. I mean, just an example being that just doing what we just did with appointments
Yeah, that's fine.
eliminates a lot of time. So I think there are time-saving things and things that we can work with our interim town administrator on to make things more efficient when we come to the table.
I mean, you guys could both take this as kind of a call to action from me, and that as the newest member of this board, it seems chaotic, and I hope we can all work together to get it back on track a little bit. And I know a lot of that had to do with not enough leadership from the corner office. But I think, how are we going to attract other members of the select board when we have 6-7 hour meetings? I don't think we can.
Well, the time before here, there are some things that we can't anticipate,
100%.
like lawsuits and things like that.
I mean,
So
we
just executive session meetings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And executive sessions have been a lot of the reason that we've had long meetings.
100%.
Keep it rolling, so.
And I think if we each get Kieran had sent out an email about agenda items. I think if a lot of the thing is getting the agenda set sooner and getting the information into it. Mm-hmm. Just in the past couple of weeks, we've gotten better at that. I think that can also help to eliminate the time if we've all had time to review before we come to the table.
Yeah, and I bring this up acknowledging that everything changes in May. And this isn't me attempting to get any position or do anything like that. It's just having the discussion of how this board is running so that we can work together to make it better. That's what this is about.
Which is why I agreed to the discussion on the organization of the board. But I think, I'm laying it all on you, Kieran, I think that there's a lot that can be done in setting up the meetings. Not that I want you to spend all your time setting up the meetings, because God knows there's so much to be done. But at the same time, I think that just knowing that this is the process that we're using to get the meeting agenda going, mm-hmm. that if we have questions, we can ask about them individually, and trusting Kieran to have the wisdom that we need as a board. I mean, I'm really laying it on you.
So that's fine. That's the synchronous relationship that we need to work on and get feedback on. And that's a very
our only opportunity to talk, the three of us, is when we're sitting here.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there hasn't been any interaction or
deliberation.
I mean, you are proactive at sending stuff out to us, mm-hmm. which was not
it's helpful.
It's been very helpful. There are a lot of things that are changing now that might have helped with that in the past.
Yeah.
So I'll take, like I said, this was not that anybody's doing something wrong. This is the only way we could talk about this, how the things are going.
And that's fine with me.
Is there anything I can do for your board to, I know we have a 48-hour goal to have items in the shared folder. I haven't been the best at that in the last 3 meetings, but I'll continue to work with, my office to keep that.
It's never happened the whole time that I've been here. And
it's work to get that done.
It's a lot of
work to get that done, because you don't always have it, especially when you're having weekly meetings.
Yeah.
Do you think 24 hours is better?
It is. I mean, I was writing the interim TA report last night at midnight, so
I'm fine with 24 hours.
But
as long as
I would like it there by Monday morning. Okay. Because it used to be that Sunday night, but this is my own personal thing. Sunday nights, I would after dinner I would sit down and prepare for Monday. That gave me Tuesday to get anything that I didn't have, to ask any questions I had, and then to be ready for the meeting. Mm-hmm. That's just how I work. I can move that to make it Monday night if that helps.
That's probably more more appropriate, to be frank about it, because we are. I mean, myself and I'm still putting out some fires that were torch, blazing before, while also, working with, Sabrina and her role to get documents in. And sometimes we're working with
I'm
other,
as guilty as.
yeah,
anybody.
sometimes we're working with other boards to get information too, and they may have a Monday night meeting if it's planning or conservation or whoever. So, I guess I'll fall on the sword a bit there to, get those things in. To hopefully expedite things for your group is I'm hoping we can sort of wean out some of the agenda items, sort of out of session, some things, that aren't appropriate maybe for the
Yeah, and I
select
guess
board.
that was kind of
That's
gonna be
sort
my
of what
question
I'm
to
gonna help
Lori was like, are you okay with some if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at something and I say something like, do we have to do these now or can they wait to the summer? Like, I just might pass that on and be like, is that okay? So that, like,
But things
is that
like
okay? Just to
that
push
can happen
back.
prior to the meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can just pull that off the agenda. So I like the idea of getting the agenda out to you guys and, just I'll always do BCC or just say reply to me individually and say, Kieran, that's July, something like that. Or, not ready for this because you're a liaison to, audit committee and you just haven't
Done it
not
yet.
worthy to talk about.
So I think
if that helps. So.
Does that make sense?
Can I say something?
Of course.
It would take around 2.5 days to do an agenda between all the back and forths. And that I would be involved in with every back and forth. And one of the things that I've said the whole time is, do the other select board members want something on the agenda? I have never said no to anything that was asked to be put on the agenda. Never. Because I feel like we each have one vote and we each should have a part of the agenda. If that has not happened, and I can tell you, I didn't always feel like that was happening, but I couldn't do anything about it because I'd have to say, are you sure you told me everything? Or it's not a great position to be in, to think that you're not being told the truth all the time, or that you're not being told something that you should be told as a chair. Especially when I want to be fair to the rest of the team, and I consider it a team, and I have said this many times before, that we all have different strengths, we all come from different backgrounds, and we all allow each other to talk. I've said the words before.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? So that's where I'm coming from. We should be a team. It doesn't matter what position we're in. The meetings being as long as they've been, I don't think have had anything to do with any one of us, but what has been thrown to the town administrator and then given to us. I don't like to talk for a long period of time. I like to get things done, so that's all I can say, and hopefully it's better going forward.
And I've never held back on things I want on the agenda. If anything, I think sometimes that I want to ask, like, do we have to do that? That's kind of, but I don't, and maybe I'll just shoot those thoughts the way I've been from today. And again, it's not a question of you at all hearing us. I think you've always heard us.
The agenda, believe it or not, has not been mine. It's been everybody else's. And whatever the town administrator at the time has given me.
Because I rarely give anything for the agenda,
I
except maybe
always
one
do.
thing,
I mean,
one or two things here and there.
I think you
But
can
I don't have
attest
a
to
problem with it
that.
because
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
I have
Veronica
sent
has
you
had 3
agenda
years of
requests, right?
experience.
Of course, yeah.
I send
I
them
don't.
every week
that's
to
fine.
I can share
anybody.
meetings,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily know everything that should be on the agenda.
Well, that's,
I've
I've been
sent
in
Nelson
infancy.
agenda requests every week. I've sent Kieran agenda requests every week.
and the
The
times I
difference
have,
is
they've always
Kieran
gone on.
responds to me. That's the difference. The rest of it was guesswork. And I assumed that
But
those
do
were
I
being
get to know
shared.
that? Do I get to know other requests for the agenda? Or is it the TA that makes the decision?
Well, I assumed the
I don't know
TA
the-
shared it with you.
Well, I'm told by everybody in town that I'm the chair and I make the agenda.
You do. It's in the selectmen's policies and
And so-
procedures.
Well,
which
I'm
may
telling
not
you
have
that
read.
those agendas have not been mine.
So we usually collect the items and then populate the agenda, and then
The
you
two
and
of
I
you.
have reviewed it, usually with Sabrina here too. in terms of like, all right,
Well,
what's
that
on
was
here?
Nelson, me and Sabrina.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I know what everybody else is.
But you may not, like, you can't necessarily debate like Valerie putting an item on there. You know, like,
And
oh,
I don't.
right. So I guess I don't understand what the, like, that's your time to review the agenda.
What I'm saying is, when you see things on the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
they're not from me. So if you saw things that you think could wait till the summer or another
No.
point in time, it was the TA, and I don't mean you.
And no, and so that I always took it, and this is how I thought the chair of the board brings the agenda forward to the select
No,
board.
it's the TA. It has been the whole
Well,
year.
The final agenda. if I'm
Yes,
reading
they
right,
asked me
is
for my
by
approval.
Is made by the chair.
Yeah,
The
they
final
asked me
agenda
they
comes
asked
from
me
the
for the
fair.
approval, and I have not denied anyone.
So,
I have no problem having anybody discuss whatever at the table. It should be,
well,
if somebody
maybe
has
I
a
would
question.
BCC you when I send my agenda request to,
I
TA.
BCC you when I
can
send
do
an
that.
agenda request usually.
Yeah, because
because
Right.
it's an agenda item, and that's fair game under the open
Yeah.
meeting law.
So-
Okay,
I did, I think
and-
for a recent one, I asked to have put on, because that is, you can
and
send
they've not
agenda
been
items.
denied.
No, of course not. I wasn't saying you were denying any agenda items ever. It was actually the opposite, kind of, which was a lot, I felt like we were allowing everything.
You know, you're damned if you do,
Oh,
you're damned if you don't.
yeah.
So.
And like I said, this was a direct cut on
Did you like all
anybody
my
here.
old sayings? My parents
that's
taught me.
usually they're much wiser than we ever were, right?
You could have easily said the agenda item was airing dirty laundry at the select board.
All right, are you here for your appointment?
You
I'm
were
here.
appointed, but you're here for
I'm here.
housing.
I'm here for housing.
Yep, we're waiting for
that's
Jack
joint.
to,
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
To
yes,
jump
yes,
on.
yes, 'cause
It's
yeah,
over to 5.
'cause
That's at 5. Okay.
So I mean,
whatever
Hi,
you want.
Natalie. Nice to
so I think
see
there was like
you.
no action taken. We hashed it out. Let's roll.
Because
Oh,
if you
you
want to
good?
do both,
Yeah.
you can. Again, meeting
Okay.
at 6.
We're all good. We're all good?
working.
We're all good.
Okay. 2.1. 2.1, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're having a joint meeting, but are you the only one on?
Yeah, we are waiting for
We have to
Jack
wait.
Moran
Yeah.
to join
yeah,
us.
Yeah, pop in.
Then we can't join yet.
Can't join till
Can't join.
and he just emailed and said he was going to join us. So I'm hoping
Yes.
he does that in a moment or
Okay.
two.
Yeah, because I've got a meeting at 6.
Yeah.
Back at the post.
So
Okay.
we did appoint you as VSO, so that's good to go.
Oh,
There's
good.
Mr. Moran right there. So
Now we can do it.
I will encourage our housing authority
Hi, Jack.
once Jack can hear us
John.
to call meeting to order.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm gonna make sure he can hear us okay, and he gives me a thumbs up.
You want me to call the order first, the joint part for us?
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
Okay.
while he's getting his sound
Yeah,
organized.
you might as well.
Okay, so 2.1, I'll call the joint meeting to order of the select board portion with the Townsend Housing Authority at 5:04 PM. Roll call. Veronica Kell present
Good present.
and Laura Schiffern present. Now you, Natalie.
Now call housing. Present.
You want to call your joint meeting to get
Oh.
off to
All
order?
right, I have to call the Housing Authority joint meeting starting at 5:05. If I may have a roll call, please.
Jack Moran, present.
Now the call present, so we have the 2.
Okay,
Okay.
so now we have that.
And
So the housing authority has to,
Make a motion.
has a motion for a new member. You guys approved it, so I'll let you read that motion to,
well, I make a motion that we have Irene Conkin
correct.
to the Housing Authority.
Second.
The date,
Effective date, February 3rd, 2026 through the annual town election on April 27th, 2026.
Okay,
That's
Jack
okay.
seconded.
Okay.
Jack seconded, so roll call vote.
Yep.
Authority.
Now,
Did
okay.
Jack second with a roll call? Did he?
Jack.
he has-
Jack, you want to say second roll call vote?
I second roll call vote.
Thank you, sir.
Is that all we have?
Okay.
Is that all we have to do?
Now you have to
All set?
vote for it.
Now you get the vote,
Okay,
so.
Natalie Cole, yes.
Jack Moran, yes.
Veronica Cal, yes.
Valerie good. Oh, do we need to make our own motion?
I think it was just the motion. We're in a joint meeting.
Mhm. Okay.
Motion's
We're gonna
on the
vote her
floor.
motion.
Just making sure.
So
Valerie good is yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes.
All right,
So thank you to Irene, but then you have another motion.
Vote to approve, adding, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So
I
I'm
move
here.
to recommend Irene Congdon to the Community Preservation Committee at the Housing Authority Representative effective February 3rd, 2026 to June 30th, 2029.
Jack?
I second that.
Jack Moran, second.
Okay, so
Jack
this
Moran, second. Okay.
roll call, was it?
roll call vote.
Roll
Natalie.
call vote, sorry. Natalie Cole, yes.
Jack Moran, yes.
Veronica Cal, yes.
Valerie good is yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes.
Okay, so.
Thank you
she's now
all
member.
very much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Housing Authority.
And thank you to Irene Condon
Yeah.
for filling
Yes.
those positions.
I need to get.
Welcome, Irene.
Thanks, Irene.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you
Have a
so
good night.
much. Bye-bye.
So we now have a full Community Preservation Committee
Yeah.
as
I
well.
think so.
To my
I think
knowledge,
so too.
yes.
Yeah.
CPC
Great.
is full.
So many appointments today.
Housing
Yeah.
Authority is full.
And housing
No,
now
Housing
meets.
Authority.
Oh, no, they still need
They
that.
have a quorum.
They have the quorum, sorry.
Yeah, they have a quorum now.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is at 6. So can we go to 4.2? Reassignment of select board liaison assignments. This was also brought for discussion. I did bring this.
Okay.
I brought this one.
So I just want to say, I do not want to change my assignments with 3 months left.
No,
Okay,
I'm good. But
I want the discussion.
yeah, sure.
Okay, and I want the discussion because when we run for the position of selectman, and this will be, and soon it's gonna be 5.
Maybe.
Maybe, whatever. Then even more so if it's not. And just like we don't have to do things the way we used to do them, because this has been ongoing for who knows how long. You don't know what liaison positions you're going to be holding until you're already elected. So when you run, you may or may not be comfortable with what you're going to end up being liaison to.
Yeah.
And also, why does it have to be called general government, public safety, and elected boards and commissions? Why can't it be by the chair, the vice chair, the clerk, and in the future, maybe the members? Okay? And I feel like each year when the board is new, that they should be able to discuss what positions they might be more comfortable representing. Maybe they know more about certain ones. I don't want Veronica to change hers. I want her to do all the union negotiations and still do public safety. I don't want that. I'm not comfortable with that. And there's other positions that I'm no longer comfortable with. So that's why I have this. And if you don't want to do anything about this now, I understand that.
I don't mind adding things, but I don't want to subtract things except for audit committee, which I will happily send to
Well, this is
Valerie.
why,
Because just looking at this, I'm
Yeah.
no longer the assigned person to that committee. So
well, there's
there are
already things I
that-
don't want to do. I'm not comfortable doing any longer.
Okay.
Okay, and that's why I wanted to have a discussion. If you're uncomfortable with something, you like to talk about being uncomfortable with it, right? Well, that's how I feel. I want to be able to be liaison to those that I feel like I have enough knowledge with and that I can help. Not something where I'm going to be butting heads with somebody or anything like that. So if you look at the list, right now there's 16 to 19 positions that we each have. Maybe 3 or so of them, I gave this to Kieran. I shared it with him. And my thoughts, you didn't get them because they were not passed along.
What are they? What are you
I didn't get
showing?
your thoughts, but I have the assignments up in front of me, so
I have the
No,
current assignment.
I sent this to you
I may
before I
not-
left.
I may not have read it.
It's okay.
Okay.
Just discuss away.
There's just my name on it.
Well, let's
so
just go
why
through
bother reading
these.
it?
Let's just go through these, starting up at the top and go through it. And if someone wants to send one away or take one on, we can do that. I'm good.
Okay, so let's do that. The first one, I'll just take a few minutes because I know I don't want to belabor this meeting, but I do want to
Okay,
get
it's
something done. So I'll do it quick. Abraham French Fund is in limbo. There's nothing to do there. Okay, that's under what you have now. Amanda Dwight Entertainment Fund, I wouldn't mind doing that. Conservation Agent Commission, I don't want to do that. Council on Aging, I'd love to do that. I'm there. I should be with them all the time. The Cultural Council, no. Energy Committee, no. Finance Committee, no. Flag Committee, yes, I'd love to do that. Kids Country Playground, no. Library Trustees, no. But all of these are ones that you would have, and that I don't necessarily want. Memorial Day Band, yes, I worked with them a lot. North Middlesex School Committee, no. Recreation Commission, no. Small Town Collaborate, no. Town Accountant, yes, I'd like to do that. Treasurer Collector, no. Veterans Agent, yes, I'd like to work with them. West Townsend Reading Room should be in the town properties thing. It's really not anything that should be on anybody's list right now. Public Safety, I don't want that. Let me see, under Public Safety, I have nothing except, I don't know why I put yes to inspectional services. Probably the electrical, plumbing and whatnot with that. That's fine. Elected boards and commissions, Board of Assessors, no. Board of Health, yes, I work with them fine. Cemetery. And
Okay,
parks.
so let's look at the ones that you're a no on. This is your list. Board of Assessors, you're a no, so we need someone to take that. I can take that
Either
for
way,
short
whatever you
term
wanna-
if
Whatever
you
you guys
want.
want to do.
Okay. Board of Health, the next one that I have is no, is facilities maintenance. I can do that, but I said no, because when I did this, I think that everybody should be getting like the same amount on here, because even when you go to okay, let's just keep going and we'll get to the next page. Where was I? Facilities. Highway Department, I have no. Historic District Commission, I have yes, I'm on it. Neshoba Valley Tech, I have no. And then my next no is Town Clerk. And then Tree Warden, yes. Board Commissioner, yes. Agricultural Commission, I have no. Rural Towns Check-in, which I have no idea what that is.
I go to that.
Okay, so
from
I
time to
know.
time, she does, it's like a Wednesday morning thing. There's a,
I see the emails
Online
about it,
thing.
but usually I'm.
I
Okay.
have attended a lot of them.
Okay,
Some,
then it shouldn't
depending
be
on the
my
topic,
list,
because
is what I'm saying.
I can take that one, the Rural
Okay,
Towns
and
Check-in.
MBTA Transportation, I used to do that all the time, but I have not had time to do that now. And then when we go to the assignments that Veronica has,
Take me off audit committee.
Yeah, so audit goes under
That
me.
goes to
Okay.
Valerie.
Do you have to do a letter of resignation and then reappoint?
We already appointed me to the audit. I just took my
Okay,
My
office.
term ended.
Left downstairs.
got it.
I'm sure you'll keep them all in line if something has to be done here, Karen. RCC Regional Coordinating Council, I don't even know what that is.
I do, because I attended that once, and it was really meant for someone from like the senior center to attend. And there's nobody who,
It really should be an employee.
it really should be an employee that attends. So I went
Oh.
once,
Okay.
just because I wanted to make sure that the town stayed on the distribution for that.
Could I also maybe put a little call out? It seems like maybe that could be someone from the Disability Commission too.
That could be, that would work as well.
Yeah,
So
blend them
that
together.
might be something we want to transfer. They have regular meetings. And they had a document coming anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's just,
One board to take.
right.
Okay,
Mart Advisory Board, I do attend that.
okay. So those are all under yours. And then are you making notes?
I am.
Okay.
I'll take agriculture if
Okay,
you want me to.
I'll take assessors.
sure. Thank you. And committee assignments, the MRPC alternate, you have that. And
Yeah.
JTT, okay. And Commission on Disability, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then what's under me, Cable Advisory is, dissolved. MPO, I can do if you want, and Town Properties, I'm a yes. Or somebody else can take it.
Well, so I guess I would have this question for you. With regard to MRPC and MJTC, you seem to know the most about those.
I do.
So if you want me to take properties and you take those, that's probably, and I'll take agriculture and,
That would be great. Yeah.
so you take those two. I'll take town properties.
Okay.
And then I think you said you didn't want agriculture and
I haven't, no on that, right?
what was the other ones under your elected boards and officials?
Assessors, I grab.
So she got
Okay.
highway and facilities.
Yeah,
Highway and facilities, that's fine.
okay. And then
And you
land use coordinator?
That's
Oh,
not
that's
applicable.
NA. It's NA, you know,
Right.
so that's why some of these things don't have to be on and why they should change yearly,
that's fine.
really. So that everybody is, the best talents that they have are being utilized. And with the new list, which I'm thankful for to my board, I would like that to be changed to chair, vice chair, and clerk.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Instead of the,
And then
Oh, I
you don't,
see.
it can be mixed however you
Yeah,
want to
no,
do
that
it.
makes sense.
And then, I'd like the new, the interim administrator's name put on the list instead of the old one. And I think those were all my, no.
Did you say the clerk too, Lori?
For Housing Authority, you shouldn't be the.
Yeah.
Do you want to
She's
be
taking-
that? It should be someone else.
Valerie's taking the town clerk.
You're taking 10.
That's fine. And you're gonna take council on aging?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I would really appreciate that.
And there's a couple other, you said the flag committee, did you say?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Flag committee and
I think
Memorial
that's
Day,
Natalie.
Memorial
Yeah, I'll
Day.
take that.
Okay.
And then, if you want to, after you make the adjustments, send that around to everybody, and then we can, if there's any changes, we can do that with him directly. Yep. That he may not have gotten.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I'll watch the video again. I don't have that pink version. I have the actual list.
I'll give you my notes, and please, my hand,
I'll end up scanning it to both of us, so we have a copy.
I already have it on the computer that I sent to you.
I never got it. I got the latest list. I didn't get that version.
Oh. Well, then I apologize. I might have been so nuts before I left.
That's
So-
vacation, Lori. I like
Yeah,
that version too. so.
I know.
Do we need a motion to change the select board liaison assignments as discussed?
Go ahead.
I've agreed to make a motion to change the select board liaison assignments discussed at the February 2nd meeting to be approved, to be reviewed
February 3rd meeting.
the February 10th meeting.
Frank.
Oh, to be reviewed at the time, okay.
And I'll send it out in advance of that, so everyone has a copy and BCC me or send me back like, "Oh, you missed one, Karen."
Okay,
Punt back. So
and Valerie, was that, Veronica, was that a second?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. I just want to thank you very much for listening to me, because I did spend a lot of time on it, so I'm glad we have it done. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Kelly Goodich,
Laura Schifrin, aye, and thank you. 4.3. We have time, let's go.
we're doing great.
MRPC's 2026 call for proposals for technical assistance. Karen, you want to continue?
Yeah. So MFRC each year, works with its communities to see what type of consulting, engineering, design work for specific types of grants that we're looking at. Our planning board has reviewed several. There's 3 different items that they, I think, felt were worthy from Beth, planning board liaison. They were in the shared folder. I can briefly touch on each item, or what's best for you guys in terms of review.
I looked through them all.
I did too. I know which ones I want, so let Valerie go and then I'll say. I do want to clarify, is that for 113, 119 intersection, or is that Route 13, 119?
It's the intersection right out here, so that's
13, 119.
Yeah.
That was what I wanted clarification on.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead, Valerie, your picks. I have my picks. I just want to say these are my picks.
You go ahead first.
And then I assume that the planning board is going to write it up. Correct?
Yep.
It's sometimes the land use coordinator who has written it up.
Correct. Beth
So
is
it's
sort
a
of
lot
stepping
on
in.
that.
Yeah.
So I absolutely, because I am the select board person on the Affordable Housing Trust, I absolutely want the inclusionary housing bylaw. We had started that last year. Aaron had done it, so it was before you were here.
Correct.
And we had put a version out that needed more work. We had wanted it on the annual town meeting last year. But I think having it reviewed and looking at it, spending more time with it is important. And I think it's important for the town. I know that people say, oh, all the housing in Townsend is affordable, but that's not really the case.
The intent.
Yeah, so I would absolutely like that to be on the one of the projects put forward for DLTA.
I would suggest ranking them each.
Okay.
So Veronica ranked that as inclusionary housing as 1 for her. What's
One
your
for
second?
me. My second one would be the 13-119 intersection because, and my reason for putting the HMP third is because I think we can maybe get that through grant funding, get that reviewed, a different funding source for that.
Okay.
So that's my reasoning. So those are my 1, 2, 3s. So maybe we should all do that.
So just for, I know you don't, I know acronyms are always tricky. It's the hazardous mitigation plan, which the town had that has now since expired. It's a very useful tool for, hazardous management, and emergency responses and things like that. So that's what HMP sort of exemplifies. Again, the housing is for something the trust had began and then got sidetracked. And the 13-119 studies for out here. And the thought is that it would prepare the town for a TIP project. And it's work that had already been done before in the past.
TIP is
Transportation. Yeah, transportation improvement plan.
Correct. Yeah.
So I know this because I used to go to the MJPC meeting.
So whoever's up next.
Now, can I ask a question with regards to the HMP? The availability of other funds for that?
There are other grants out there that could potentially cover it. We did have Bernie Cahill was here, and he was meeting with Beth, and they had touched on it, and he's like, "Oh, that's one that's pretty boilerplate."
Yeah.
And we had done a lot of legwork on it already, but it does involve some public engagement, and it expired just this past December. So you're right; it may be one that we can reactivate through other channels.
Okay.
So
that was really my question when I reviewed them all. Was that one seemed to me the one to be most likely to be kind of separated? Not that I want to. The environmentalists to me would like that to be first, but I'm going to actually go with the 13-119 first. As someone who's experienced some hazardous biking incidents at that intersection and almost died once. It was fun. And then the inclusionary housing second, and then the HMP third.
And that's my vote.
So it seems like
I'm 50-50 on 1 and 2.
Yeah.
okay. So
Just personal
I think they're
experience
both
bumped me that one.
Well, I work there,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so tell me when
You've
I
seen
say
me on my bike there.
you
Yeah.
see it every day.
Is this the grant that they do 2 rounds on? If I remember right, from planning days, they did a first round of the DLTA and then,
Oh,
they award, and then if there are
If
more
there's left.
funds, they do a second round.
Yes, that's true.
They do. They said
NRPC, that's how that works.
they felt in conversation, there's only about 7 to 8 communities that are going to get DLTA projects funded through them this year. Due to just sort of,
Because they probably have less than what they normally get.
yeah, there's some constraining resources in that organization. So
They used to have a ton, where we used to get 2 or 3.
I don't know if we
A
ever
year.
got 3, but I know we've gotten 2.
Yeah.
There was a time period where we never applied for them.
Right, before I opened my mouth and said,
Why aren't we doing
why
that?
aren't we participating at the
Yeah.
table? And then, so then they nominated me to go there because you
course.
open your mouth.
When you open your mouth, you get the role.
But yeah, we've gotten a lot in the last decade.
So the sort of democratic vote there is the 13-119 projects, number
Yes.
1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the inclusionary zoning housing
Yeah.
project. Number 3, but still important, is HMP.
Yeah.
And I will relay this to Beth and encourage her to let me
Any
know if I
other
can-
possible sources of funding?
The MVP grant, will that help with them? Because we did
Not
those
with
documents
HMP.
together. We did
Tried already.
MVP with HM.
They don't, it's
Okay.
it's MEMA, and it's its own organization now,
Okay.
and that agency is now closed. So I applied for it back in November and,
Okay.
so,
Got it. All right.
do you want to make an official vote on that? I think that's a voting type item to
I
say,
think, yeah.
I would make a motion to approve, the following prioritization for MRPC's 2026 call for proposals. Number 1, investigate design grant for 13-119 intersection via federal TIP funding opportunities. Number 2, work with DLTA to review inclusionary housing via Townsend Affordable Housing Trust. And number 3, work with MRPC to reactivate the hazardous mitigation plan via land use or other grant opportunities.
thank you.
Second?
Second. Veronica Cal, second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich-Aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye.
Excellent.
We already had a DLTA review, or was it UPWP, for the walkability of this
Yep.
part of town.
I
So-
actually applied for AARP walking study grant too to help with that, but I haven't heard back yet, so
Try it on a bike.
TBD.
Yeah.
If I ever don't come to a meeting, just find me out there. And I try to avoid it, but sometimes I have to.
Okay. 4.4. Mandatory referral zoning board of appeals. Board makes comments on 3 Wheeler Road.
That was the CBA one, right?
Correct.
Yeah, zoning board of appeals. Comments?
Yeah, I looked at that. It looked to me, if I was reading this correctly, that they are applying to remove less and to keep a barn on the property that they were originally going to remove. If I'm reading that correctly, that's what I saw when I went through it.
Am I missing anything?
And I am good with that. If it's reducing almost pretty much in half the amount of gravel coming off that lot. It looks like a modification to a special permit for gravel removal.
Mhm.
And it looks to me like they are asking it to be modified so that they can keep the building that was there and maybe modify that building somewhat and remove lesser gravel.
That's what I got.
And if that's the case, I am happy to go with whatever the CBA decides.
Yeah, this is probably a moment where it's, thank you for letting us know, take no action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go from there, because it's really a ZBA's matter
Mhm.
before them.
Yep.
And we usually say we're confident in the zoning board's ability to make the right decision.
That's why they're there. It's the same topic for planning board.
If that's all it is, if it isn't on, if it isn't removing, vegetation along to.
Seemed like there was more for planning.
Yeah, I thought so too. I would want to make sure that the vegetation plan that was put in place when the solar, farm was instated. And I know I was on the planning board when that came in originally.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to make sure that that was, maintained, that in order to protect the people along that abut the solar farm. That's all.
Yeah, so the planning board side had a stormwater management modification, that's in the shared drive. So I think there was just some modifying language that the planning board will, either looking for comment or will be taking action on to review, as a group. So.
Usually the stormwater plan gets reviewed outside by the planning board, does it not?
By the planning board.
The planning board
is in charge of
hires
stormwater.
the planning board hires an outside consultant
So
typically.
They're going to be hiring a peer, so that it's a peer review.
Yeah, exactly.
And they will pass that fee along to the applicant.
Correct.
So I think that notification will be going out in the near future. I believe they're going to use Hoyle and Tanner, who's sort of a really prominently known resource in the area for these such peer reviews. And then they'll report back to the planning board with determinations. So
My question, making sure.
So as long as that
process has to happen.
In place,
Yeah.
I am good.
So same comment, confidence in the planning board decision.
Exactly.
I think this is the one.
The next one was the change in the
Vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically just, from what I understand, it was saying it didn't have to be there at an annual review anymore.
Yeah, this is the West Meadow Road. The original permit was ground-mounted solar, also known as Lockbrook Solar, within a aquifer protection overlay. And Townsend Planning Board wants to hold a hearing to review that and part of the mandatory referral notice. So, and changes involve removal of vegetative screening along that West Meadow Road. So, again, they have certain standards to.
They still have to keep vegetation. We're just not going to screen that. They're doing it every year is what they're asking for, basically.
They could be. I don't know the exact
That's how I read it, but
yeah. But
I guess my point on this is I would like to make sure that the residents are visually protected. We did a lot. I was on the committee that did the solar bylaw, and we did a lot of discussion on view shed, and that you don't want to. I mean, if you're living in Townsend and you have had a view of a farm field, you want to make sure that your view of that farm field doesn't change, even though the farm field is no longer a farm field.
mm-hmm.
And so I would want to make sure that the planning board does everything possible to ensure that. That's all.
Do you want that comment on there?
Well,
The residents' view?
I do, of course,
Yeah.
but you guys have to.
I mean, I'm fine with the planning board as long as the original intention of this is still in place. If that makes sense. If that's kind of what you're saying, Veronica. The original intention of that request was for that purpose. So that make sense?
Yes.
As long as original intent is in place.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And next
Um,
is 53 West Meadow.
Correct. This one is for a stormwater regulations hearing. And they're going to be doing land disturbance, 46,000, almost 46,000, yeah, included 40 land disturbance of 46,000 square feet, including 7,800 square feet of steep slopes. And this will be proposed and is above the threshold requiring a major stormwater management permit. And it came to the Townsend Planning Board.
Are they gonna have that same
That's
sort of
their
review?
thing.
Are they gonna have
yes,
that same
they have to.
review? Okay,
They have to.
just making sure.
Well, it looks like they're asking to be exempt from a major stormwater management.
Yeah, this is for a new single family home.
I highly doubt they're gonna do that. I don't think planning will let that happen. I'll trust them to go through what they need to.
I don't know the lot or the location, so it sounds like it's pretty
There-
challenging, right?
There's a, God, who used to be the, he's gone, was it the conservation agent or maybe land use? I forget his name, that was here when we first started this, and there's two categories. If it's, well, obviously this one's gonna be major, because they're having a public hearing. Because if it was minor, it would be just in-house.
Correct. So this is, obviously I haven't walked the site, so I have no idea. But I would want to make sure that, the landowner and the abutters are protected from whatever.
I
As far as
trust
stormwater
planning will do
goes.
that. I trust planning's gonna do that.
Do you want to note, like, I just haven't gone through the documents soup to nuts in terms of are they getting a peer review or not, but it sounds like this one may, if it's part of that world, deserve it. Is that,
If it's not minor, they're gonna get a review,
okay,
because they won't give a decision, planning won't give a decision without it.
okay.
So how do you want me to word this?
Respect plan board's decision, pending review as necessary, as
They're gonna do it. They have to have a peer review, and the applicant pays.
this request for exemption from that.
Yeah, like Stamsky printed out where the house is going to go and everything. So on their plan, the septic plan too, it's the drainage.
Make sure it's reviewed. I guess that's all I want to say.
Say what you said again.
I'm gonna tell them, make sure they have peer review.
Yeah, just
Please require peer review as necessary.
as required by
Yeah.
stormwater management plans or by major excavate, or whatever the
Yeah.
phrase is.
Let's make sure peer review. This looks like a major.
There's like some way to phrase it. I can't think of like,
So,
usually I'm pretty quick on this, but
so what did you write so far?
I'm trying to like time.
It's down, as this looks like a major.
Undertaking.
Yes, good.
Sometimes
it.
we need to finish our
The reaper comes
sentences.
out.
Whenever you needed thesaurus, just ask them. I don't know where it comes from sometimes, but
Yeah, I get it. 4.8.
Yeah, that was my request. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
You want to go? You want me to go?
You go.
Okay. So this was brought to my attention, and I think some of you might understand this also, is so when the interim town administrator came to us initially, we were negotiating, there was a rate in the contract and it was hourly. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Karen, at any point in this conversation, but what happened was we added on the grant administrator responsibilities to the TA position.
Correct.
Initially, we had thought we'd do, 32 hours as TA, 8 hours of grant administrator. Doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. And I thought that, so I'm surprised that we need to make this adjustment because it was intended to be, his job is this.
Yes.
It's part of his
And that's how it's
job
written.
at this rate. So, but that's not how it's,
So what happened was the rate was adjusted
so
to
that
put
was in the
grant administrator
EAS.
rate.
That's where it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when that was calculated,
Okay,
had I been paying enough
me
attention,
too.
again, crazy means like I would have seen that. But when we changed it from an hourly to a weekly, we didn't catch that rate had been changed. And it's not a separation, it was adding of responsibilities. That's what we did.
It's not two separate jobs.
Exactly.
It is
So
a
we
single
took the
job.
town administrator position, we added responsibilities on top of it.
Correct.
And so I don't think that means then we should be paying less for the town administrator position.
I agree.
You're welcome to not do this if you don't want to.
I don't-
I mean, I
this
honor
is
the contracts I signed,
This
so.
was not advocated to me by the interim TA. This was, when I became aware of this, I was kind of mortified that I hadn't caught it. Because,
Is there a motion?
yeah, sure. I moved to accept the MOU for a salary adjustment for the interim town administrator and the EAF change as presented.
Second,
Which would be
Veronica Cal second.
And it's not a big change. It's important.
Any
Appreciate
further
the support.
discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Not a good try.
In Laura Schiffern,
Thank you. I don't think putting my dog in doggy daycare overnight on Tuesday nights a little bit more affordable. That's what I did for him.
Probably a good idea. You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I think he was like, I'm not around. I'm like, oh, he's going to doggy daycare
Yeah.
Play
overnight.
with friends.
Thank you. So I'm like writing a grant 11:45 midnight.
Okay.
Go team.
why don't we do that? Because I want to go into the 5.1 old business.
We have to do 4.9, right?
Maybe
To
have,
accept them.
6
Oh, yeah,
p.m.
yeah.
6 p.m. is the joint meeting with our FinCom friends, and police chief's going to present to us as well as FinCom.
I'm gonna put
All right,
sign
very
this
good.
third,
Oh,
this day of
thank you.
3 February.
Okay, 4.9. Well, this is a very pleasant one.
No, it's a happy thing.
I know.
I like that.
Let's make the motion. I love them all.
Can I make just one comment? Is these all the pictures that are gonna be used? This in the
If
entirety?
they fit in.
Okay, if they fit in, and additional ones could be used also. We're not saying just these ones.
Well, this is what we have.
Okay.
These have been given to us.
Of course, yes.
So
I
we're
would,
accepting these.
what I was
from-
saying is
from
we could
this
add other
photographer.
ones. We're just adding these to the pile. Because it
We're
seemed to be, there
accepting them.
seemed
We're
to be,
just
it was kind of
accepting them.
centered to one thing.
We're
and
not laying the
other
it out.
areas.
No, there's
count.
other things,
Okay, just making sure.
other departments, other whatever.
Okay.
And
That's fine.
I do get to work on this thing, okay? So when it comes through,
Yeah.
I may have some decisions as to where they go in the book. That's about it.
The irony of it is like when I got the file, I thought I had to pick one, and I was like, oh man,
No,
like this
I
is
didn't
not
wanna
good.
pick-
I don't want
I
this
didn't wanna pick-
responsibility. It's
I wanted them all.
like, so then like I saw there was one that's
Just shut your eyes
beautiful, and I
and
was
go
like,
like that.
I see the American flag, I see like the nice like state. I was like, that's
The
pretty sharp.
pond, the
Yeah, like
snow.
that's like I feel like in America, and I'm like it looks good, but I'm like, is this the
common.
only? Like I don't want this pressure.
There's a
Like-
library in the snow. I
Oh,
like
no,
this.
no, 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 no.
Sit down, I'm glad.
I asked, I asked, I said I can use all these, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to pick one, do
Yeah.
I? No, so it's
Okay.
for all of them.
I move to approve the donation of 19 pictures for the annual town report 2025 by Norman DeBauer.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any further discussion? Only that there can be other pictures.
Yes, that was all I wanted
besides
to make
those.
sure.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Probably good as John.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. 5.1, first reading, public record policy revised. I want to handle it.
Why don't we move this to 310?
310 or 210?
210?
Oh, 210, sorry. Did I read 310? 210,
What's your
next
pleasure?
week.
That's fine.
I'm just thinking,
There's a few moving parts on this one. We did have some staff ask for it, so I shared it with them in its draft format.
well,
Did
do
you
we
get
want to
some
do it?
feedback?
I have not received feedback on it yet, but I shared the document.
Would you like to wait for feedback? It's up to you.
I could. It was our town clerk's office. They wanted to review it and get a glance at it. I haven't heard back yet.
Okay, sounds good. February 10th
I think we
for
move it to
5.1.
Okay.
5.2. I'm trying to move this along.
I like it, Lori.
See, it was a good conversation.
See if we can get it
Do
all.
we have,
5.2 was looped in with Ms. Kell. She had been working with the town council office on this. Last I knew, you're up front.
Was the lease in there? Did it get put in there? I didn't look at this one because I hadn't.
So you were
I don't have
reviewing
anything.
edits with town council.
I don't have anything on
So we
this
may
yet.
not have any action on this, would be my
Okay.
guess.
So let's move this to next week, and if you haven't
5:10.
gotten this,
I have
I'll put
not.
it in there. I asked my question in the email that I wanted, to be certain that we had, and the answer was positive, I thought.
Okay,
Maybe we should talk. We should move, I would like to move this to next week,
210.
to 210.
210. I've got it.
And that will give you and I time to talk, and that will give us time to send it to,
Share it with the team members.
yeah, and with you guys. So, all right. Was it in here?
Nope.
And,
Okay.
no, it's not.
No, it
So that's
wasn't.
being moved. On
Okay.
to 5.3. The weekly dates. First of all, we're not meeting on the 17th. That was school vacation. That was a long discussion we
Okay.
had.
So I have 210, no 217, and then 224 would be the next meeting after that.
Correct,
Okay, and then special town meeting 225.
correct.
So what are we doing here?
Did you guys think we were meeting on the 17th?
I'm fine either way.
I thought we were. I thought that we were meeting with FinCom today and the 17th. I
I
thought
think it was
those
the
were.
first 2 meetings in February is the policy. So that would be today and next week.
Did they
Yeah.
agree to that?
Yeah.
They did. So it's.
Okay, so that's the
So
two
it's
first
2,
meetings.
3, and 210.
And that's
Okay.
what I thought.
Because.
So then my question was, is that if we have the budget summit on the 7th,
Mhm.
do we really need that day?
Which
So
day?
Which day, the 17th?
Yeah. And I guess I would defer to the interim TA in this.
I think it would be useful to have some time. So maybe not a meeting, and then like just give myself to keep working with the mentor, and I come up with some really good ideas, so I would
Okay.
appreciate
I'm
a
good
little
with
more
that.
time.
That's fine.
And it would also give you guys a chance to.
I'm good.
And then
with
if at any point in time you need us to get together in there, you just let us know.
Mhm.
And we can,
I will say on 2/9, I just want to know if there'll be a quorum at the school budget hearing,
What is the time on that? I have it
6
on
p.m.
mine.
6 PM. And I can bring this up more in
We
the town
didn't
administrator's
have-
report,
I
but
have
just
it
for
in
meeting
here.
purposes.
From way back, but it's 6 PM. I'll be there.
I'll say I'm the school liaison, so I'll be there.
You can do it hybrid, you can do it virtually, or you can go there in person. They've asked who's coming in person, so I just want to make sure I respond. I'm gonna go in
I'll be
person.
there.
Where is it?
It's
High
at the high school room 120.
So then we have to post a meeting, right?
Correct,
But you can also do Zoom?
correct.
Okay. so
Last year,
I'll
the
do either
FinCom
one.
and the select board zoomed
Okay,
from
so
in
we'll
here
post, yeah, we'll post.
for that meeting, and we posted.
Mhm.
That's what we did. We didn't attend in
Yes,
person. We
I
zoomed.
answered you on that one, because there's no meetings that night.
Yeah, you said like no meetings,
It's the following week.
that planning has the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we'll
Or
get
the
that up.
23rd.
Okay, so I'll
We should
be
be
in
good.
person, so we should post.
Okay,
So not the 17th.
no 17, but
Unless
less,
you feel that we need a work session on the budget or something.
We can do that.
We can discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not taking it out yet then.
Do you want to go through the rest of those? Is that why they're here, the ones in red? Are we supposed to approve these?
I thought the reds were the ones that were certain, and nobody said anything about this. And the blacks were things that were maybes. That's the way I read this, but I put everything in.
Okay.
So, just because if I don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
We can update it next week too.
Mhm.
Okay? If something.
So at
changes.
least
I mean,
through-
I'm fine with
We don't need a
getting,
motion
keeping
for
our,
this right now, I
Yeah.
don't think.
I'm fine with keeping our first and third and adding as needed. That's fine with me,
Okay.
generally speaking.
well, but that's not exactly what we're doing here because we just crossed out.
Oh, other than
17.
February.
Okay.
February is different.
Our
All right.
next thing is the warrant articles, and we don't have enough time to go through that
You probably do not have enough time.
before the joint.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that after.
Yeah,
We
we
do
will.
need to do that today.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, we will. We have to do that today.
All right.
And,
Do you want to take a quick peek at the snow and ice spending so far?
yeah.
I shared.
5.5.
Correct. 5.5, we are at a number of 326,145 right now. So that's a negative deficit balance of about $85,000 from the allocation of 241. It's only February 3rd. So just something to be.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're dropping
No
into free
action
cash
right
at this
now.
point. Correct. This is where we're starting the free cash allocation.
And just for
Yeah.
clarification, our free cash we think is going to be,
She said use 500K as the placeholder.
just wanted public
Yeah,
knowledge on that one.
I don't have the hard number
No,
yet.
that's fine. I just wanted a general,
500K.
everybody to hear the number that we're dealing with for the future.
We're not gonna allow it to happen what happened.
So, that's the expense summary thus far. I hope it stops snowing.
Well, the cost is typically the salt. That's the line that last year bumped us up. And I thought he,
Just got a shipment of salt.
right, and
So
he
that's
did
that
one at the
105.
end of last year. That's why we're as low as we are here,
Mhm.
because he did do that.
Mhm.
But if we have to do another shipment of salt, that'll kill us.
Mhm.
So if we get to the end of the year, I wouldn't restock until next year. Just saying.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's one truck that got dinged, so that's another issue, but, maintenance and repair. So
Do we have insurance that covers things like that?
I've asked, waiting for an answer.
Get in the back.
We're gonna take a few minutes before we do FinCom joint?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll take a 7-minute recess for our TCAM friends who are listening, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Oh, here's Sammy's late.
All right, good time.
Hey,
All right, TCAM, we're back, and we have a couple of meetings to call to order, if that's okay.
All set.
All right. We have a joint meeting tonight with Townsend Selectboard and Townsend FinCom, so I'll let the powers that be get rolling.
okay, good evening, everyone. And I will call the joint meeting of the Select Board and the FinCom to order at 6:02 PM. I'll have a roll call of the Select Board, please.
Veronica Cal present.
Very good, Mr. President.
And Laura Schiffman present.
And FinCom, we
Yeah, and I will call the Housing Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. also, and roll call attendance, please.
Gerald Mazik is here.
Kathleen Spofford here. Carol House is here.
Mary Jane Churchville here.
David Walker here. Dan Grant here. Don Hayes present. We have our full Finance Committee.
excellent.
And Madam Chair, can I just say something before we begin? There's also a quorum of the capital plan here. So as long as we don't talk about capital planning, I believe that we're good. But if we do, I will be the one to recuse myself because I'm new. And I probably have the least amount to contribute to it. So if that's,
Thank you for the disclosure.
okay.
Great. Well, thanks to all the boards coming out tonight. I'm going to do a couple things for you guys and then hand it off to the police chief because his budget is much grander than I can ever imagine. And he's much better at presenting than I am. So I will quickly give you sort of a Townsend fiscal year 2027 topics to cover. You should have a copy of that presentation. I can also email it out after the fact to everyone that would like a copy, or I'll send it to Don and he can distribute to his team. In general, and I haven't shared this with the select board, though I think they've sort of known what's been driving budget discussions for me as I work for you guys to sort of get through things. Expenses based on department requests, the largest drivers of that budget, revenue estimates, which again are very estimated rates right now, reminding us of our budget policy that you guys set back in 2017. And then some ideas for budget controls that hopefully you guys will see motions there to empower me to move forward with as I work with departments that are making requests and trying to rein in some spending that we may not have. As a whole, your expenses and department requests sort of break out into these different categories. Education, no surprise to anyone, is the largest consumer of the budget, if you will, of the taxpayer dollars for the town. Other ones that stick out to me, public safety as a bucket, is about 15%, 15.5%. Human services, culture, recreation, you end up in a ballpark number. Again, this is based on department requests of that 29,000,006 in terms of how things look in Townsend right now with the requests we have to date. This should align pretty closely with the omnibus budget that you have in hand based on department requests. The math's changed a little bit since I last presented that to you guys last week. A couple other numbers have come in. So that's sort of where we're working from right now. So again, asterisk is these are requests right now. They've shifted a little bit since your last discussion. Any questions here? I know I'm not trying to race through it, but I'm just trying to be mindful of
when
time.
you talk about the differences, you sent out a while ago a link to a file on the shared drive. Those numbers were the same as a week or so ago.
Yep.
Is it being modified someplace different?
So I'm working on my own, but you're going to see at the end of this presentation what I hope you empower me to do for you guys with department heads. When you look at your largest budget drivers based on fiscal year 26, based on the requests on certain departments right now, and then the percentage increase, you'll see where, again, based on department requests, the change in percentage, it's not perfect math, but this really gives you an understanding of some of the largest drivers that are causing significant increases in the town. One that comes to mind that I learned a little later on today was you guys had a town meeting vote for some pavement management programs. I realized that late today that the town is also going to receive $900,000 in Chapter 90 money. So I don't think that 250 is locked in stone per se. It might be a soft spot thinking budget and trying to avoid overrides and loss of, folks and such like that. So,
Can I say something about that?
Mhm.
That was a bylaw that was put in place around 2018, I think it was, 2018, 2019. And it was Andrea Wood from the Finance Committee who put in a caveat saying only if we have the money to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think we have maybe twice in the past 8 years or so since it came into play funded it at all.
Mhm.
We just haven't had the money.
Yeah.
And there is an increase in Chapter 90, like you said.
Yeah,
So,
it's substantial. It's almost 2x. Chapter 90 last year was about 400K. This year, Townsend's looking at about 900K, which is a tremendous amount for your nearly, I think it's 90 or so miles of roads in town, I'm guessing correctly. But again, I just wanted to bring illustration to it for the driving factor of what's happening in your budget. Some other departments, I sort of went to bat for the town administrator salary. So that, is a delta of almost 35% increase. And I know I met with you guys and shared with you, why I felt so strongly about it. Elections has a pretty substantial jump. I think that has to do with the amount of elections we have incoming. Sort of working through that challenge. Other wage increases. Neshoba Board of Health was really faced with a challenge in all the communities it serves, where they went up quite a bit. 30% hike for Neshoba Board of Health, which does some of your nursing program, but also some of your, Board of Health septic design, such like that. I think a lot of communities, the one that I'm a part of, is having a real tough time swallowing that pill.
Are they itemizing it so we know what the charges are for?
They're referencing insurance increases and retirement increases and just the cost of services in lieu of the hospital being closed.
Oh.
But I would encourage folks to investigate that. Because we are in my community, because we're faced with a similar cost increase. And
wasn't there a letter sent out or
There was.
something that said, basically mandating these increases? You really didn't have a choice.
well, the choice is the contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where you come in, Carol.
Yeah, I mean, right? If you don't sign the contract, you find a plan B.
And it's
And-
more expensive.
Are there plan Bs out there that are realistic? And
Like Dunstable and Groton are talking about bringing the Board of Health agent under one umbrella. So it's that person would serve both towns. I don't know the workload involved in Townsend for what the Board of Health Neshoba agent does for us. It might be something to check with Pepperell, Ashby, or other communities that they serve to see if they're also experiencing that hardship with cost increase and then trying to blend them together.
is that Carla?
It's
No,
not Carla, it's Rick.
Metcalf.
Oh, it's Rick. Oh.
Rick Metcalf represents us, and he's here 2 days a week, 1 hour, Tuesdays and Thursdays, or 12 to 2, and then he does whatever this area needs for inspections on those days.
Does he represent other towns too?
Yeah,
In Neshoba,
Oh, yeah.
quite a few towns. So,
oh, yeah,
but again, it's you've got insurance, like our health insurance. Maya said the estimate is like 2.3 to 14.4.
14, yeah. So
And
hopefully
so-
the average is like 8, 9.
Yeah, so I put us on the high end there, but we know
Have we
health
got-
insurance
Do you
is
have an official number yet from our agent?
not yet. Still waiting.
I thought they would have gotten it to us last
So
week.
would I. But I'm going to chat with Callie to see if she'd heard or
Yeah.
who are the other contact folks for that.
Is that based on 2020, FY 26 headcount or FY 27 headcount?
I would be on the previous year because can't predict what 27 is going to look like. So
I don't think the percentage changes based on head count, right? It's
no,
based
usually
on
it's on
usage.
usage and medical needs, things of that nature, sort of the nitty gritty stuff of life.
I'm hoping it'll be a little less based on the estimates that we saw at MMA.
I hope so, but I'd rather plan cautiously and be at that. They said the high end's 14.4. That's what we're going to use until we know the certainty that it's less than.
Veterans agent, 45%.
I have to chat with Natalie in terms of what that changes because I don't know what it is. So I have to ask.
Or is that the veterans benefits in that area going back to where it was?
Yeah.
FY
It could be
25?
based on the department requests, and I think she was up significantly higher than what her allocation was this past year. So
Because it was cut pretty significant for FY 26 budget over FY 25. So it looks like similar to some of the others that are trying to get back to FY25 levels in increases.
And you see that within like facilities personnel and highway personnel.
Yeah.
Highway as part of sort of the budget constraints last year did not add a person, even though it was initially approved. They sort of made do with what they had. Facilities also experienced a reduction in staff from, I think 2 part-time custodian folks down to 1. And I think it even shifted back to part-time wages now. But the buildings and facilities have experienced some deferred maintenance and loss of cleanliness, and public experience has been reduced as in lieu of that. The upside is retirement didn't go up substantially. So I think that's a good sign. Land use, it's a small increase, a large budget percentage increase, but a smaller wage, if you will. But again, just wanted to bring this to illustration based on department requests. So I'm trying to be really hammer that away. Like this is, the goals that each department had with us.
So we can ask the department heads the questions when they come in.
Yeah, or you can ask me and I can, relay it to Don, to the team. So,
Well, I mean, if they're coming in.
yeah, absolutely.
When you have land use personnel, where are we finding, is that right? I mean, where are we finding Conscom and planning board?
Yep.
Am I missing that?
So the land use personnel was for
Just the land use coordinator?
Correct. And my suggestion of having a consultant type be someone like a Hoyle and Tanner to help them with the really technical projects that come before them. Like the ones we were visiting earlier on the ZBA referral, so to have someone more technical be available for that department. So the fun part, revenue estimates. Again, these are estimates, looking at last year's numbers. These are, areas that we've done pretty well with. Enterprise direct cost goes up a wee bit. Local estimated receipts is a really aggressive number at 9% increase. The person I was working with on this suggested bringing that estimate down, as he felt that's a rather unsustainable growth.
I think last year that happened too, and it was not as high as we expected.
Correct. The parting TA, Nelson had said this is the number he was working with. I'm uncomfortable with that, not because of him, but just because of the percentage increase.
And what is that, the dog licenses and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's just
Is it excise tax?
It's everything. Yeah, all those estimated taxes that come in. So, I just think that's high.
The number of 2020 for FY26, is that what we expect to come in for FY26? Because it's not an actual yet, correct?
So I would rather just keep it flat, to be perfectly honest with you. But I wanted to at least share it with the board in terms of what the estimates are that we're working with now. But this is sort of where we're at. So.
And the ambulance receipts didn't go. That's not going up?
Not based on the current situation.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question, Mary Jane.
I'm sorry, did the ambulance receipts are not going up?
Wasn't that what he gives to the town, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not that.
But isn't it based on how many people to go
I have
in
an
the
error on the
ambulance?
spreadsheet too, so.
On his end.
At the bottom, yeah.
But this is what he gives to the town.
Oh, he picks. I see, okay.
I don't know how
Oh,
he
it doesn't
figures
have
it out.
anything to do with how many runs of the ambulance. Okay.
No.
Not necessarily, it's the collections afterwards, but you can't estimate more than what's in the budget, or in that enterprise fund.
And I requested those. You can request those from the town accountant, the current, so you can see what's in there and the projected for the year.
Yeah, it's a coastal report. That's the standard in the industry.
Right. And question with write-offs for it, are we current with the write-offs in that account? So that we know where.
Didn't we do a big I think we
We
did a big
did.
thing on that last
We
year.
approved the
Approved
law
a big
to
write-off
write-off.
last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, but it's something we continue to monitor.
Uncollectibles.
Right, I understand. It's kind of
I thought
like,
we-
usually
I
that's
thought we
something
kinda
if you don't
zeroed
watch
it
it,
out
it
last
just
year.
builds up.
Why do I remember
I
that?
did, because I think we did.
We did.
Yeah.
Two things, that total revenues, I copied that cell in by accident, so ignore that. And then Veronica made the point of transfer from reading room of $5,000. That's in the event that we're continuing to rent out the reading room. There is strong discussion, and I'll be visiting with our Townsend Properties Committee about dispersing of that parcel and selling it. Because it needs a new septic system. The exterior facade, though historic, needs about $100,000 in renovation type work.
A reading room?
The reading
The
room.
West Townsend.
Good Lord, and build a new one, or refab one.
So that the building's facilities said, exploratory work for that septic system is about $5K. And he goes, who knows what we're going to find? You can't use it during the winter. There's some pest management issues going on over there, and the siding in the building in general is in pretty tough shape. So I'm going to meet with Townsend Property Committee to discuss selling that. So that 5,000 probably goes away. Just as a-
Check the deed
Do we
to
really
make
get
sure
the
we
pipe
have
now?
the right to sell.
Yeah.
it.
So we do. I have the
We do,
deed.
okay.
You sell it, but it's with the historic caveat, so that the
Right.
outside has to remain historic,
Yeah,
and or
okay.
match the the window trim or the rock or
What's in
however.
historic district?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the West
Yeah.
Townsend Historic District.
Um,
So other things in there is you'll see, and I'll reiterate this on another slide, that the free cash is not a part of this solution for the budget. So that'll be a good segue for me to shift to estimates. And I see my math error because I was building off one cell to the other, so I won't hammer on this too much. So budget policy. So this is sort of something I wanted to remind our table here of. The town will not balance the budget by using one-time or other non-reoccurring revenues to fund ongoing expenditure. Your
That's a
town,
rule, right?
it sure is.
Yeah.
It is your policy,
Yeah.
section 1, page 4 from
Yeah.
2017.
We just want to make us
Well-
sensitive to that, huh?
Well, I do, and I want to also really illustrate sort of the story and how we ended up here. I mean, look at your free cash spending in 23, 24, 25, 26. This isn't an effective use of free cash.
Can we tell town meeting for that?
Wasn't here.
Yeah. But that's why last year, why we could only go up 0.5%.
Right.
We couldn't go up 2.5% last year because of all those one-time uses.
So, the other notes there are that in fiscal year 26, another 291.6 was used to cover the snow and ice deficit, which we're going to see again this year. In 25, you used almost 280K in ARPA one-time funds for balancing the budget and for, reoccurring expenses. It's led you to the scenario you're in now, which is my
FinCom knows that.
which is my next slide, which is basically, here are the 5 things I would be suggesting the select board and the FinCom make a motion on and take a vote on for the town administrator's office to try to keep the lights on. I would be suggesting hiring freeze effective February 11th after the next select board meeting. I would be directing departments to submit level spending fiscal year 2027. Level spending means no increase from the prior year, irregardless of contractual obligations, anything.
Well, how does that
Nothing.
work then? Because that's what we're told all the time. It's about the contracts.
So
So the
once,
contracts say they're gonna go up.
unions.
yeah, so
That's
again,
me.
this is for department heads to build their budget.
Yeah,
So if the department has $100 and they see that their wages are gonna go up 2%, they can take the $100 and pay Mary Jane and, her 2.5%,
Mhm.
but then that may mean you don't have any office supplies. And can you make do without office supplies?
Yeah, but can they do that with a union contract?
But if it,
It's within, if it honors their agreement, the wage increase, then something else gets taken.
okay. But if it's the wage increases in the contract, they have to give the wage increase.
Unless you get to the table where it's, we don't have any money.
So you're
with the
saying actually
negotiation.
bottom line will remain the same.
Bottom
What they
line.
do with it in,
How you spend it's up to you.
Well, we
But
tried to do that last year.
that's right.
That didn't work.
but it's as a select board and FinCom, and I'm putting you guys on the spot, and my select board colleagues that haven't heard me say this, it's really your groups that have to set that line and never waver. You have to be like, this is it.
Well, Karen, I think that's a very important issue because we get a lot of wavering. We get a lot of, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We get a lot of, and I understand financing that tightens. Things are going to get hurt, not necessarily people, but things, everything, supplies, insurance, this. But I think that we have to do this together.
Right.
FinCom and Board of Selectmen. And we can't,
Well, it's,
like you said, waver on it.
Yeah.
So tell me, let's just say we cave again. How long can you cave before what happens?
I don't think your budget's in a
Not gonna
scenario
be able
this
to
year
give
that you
no
can cave
cave.
in. There's no option out right now.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we go
Look
back
at your
to-
free cash spending, sorry, Don, but like,
Yeah.
you've been leveraging one year against the other, and this is the bottom.
Look at the bottom.
This-
We got
this-
on the committee right at the right time.
Well, I mean,
And the floor fell out.
I'm not trying, now I feel bad for the police chief, he's gotta go after me, so he's gonna strangle me and bring me out back. But it's an important effort that your department heads, and some of them are very tenured and very wise, to go through this. And it's not just an exercise now, like now seeing the requests and these revenue estimates, it's the rubber meets the road here. Like this is, you can't increase because school, I can't control school for you. I can go back to them and beg for money, but they've closed Ashby Elementary and that's not reopening. And that 4.65% increase is probably not changing. Like that is the number. Health insurance, which, is however you feel about it, like it's going up. Debt numbers, I can't get you out of that because that's years past. Here we are. So again, just to illustrate budget controls, yes is level spending. No, it's not level services. There's often confusion in terms of, level services. I'm like, no, level services accounts for COLA inflation contracts. We're not at that point. And then third is this would be a joint select board finance committee directive. And I would ask the folks in charge of their budgets to bring that back to me by February 26th. And then anyone that can't do that, give me a paragraph or so I can revisit with your teams to say, this is why town administrator's office just couldn't flex. Kieran doesn't know what he's doing, something to that effect. Or like it's, we're experiencing such personnel turnover that we can't fill the seat. And then that's when I would build the omnibus budget for you guys.
So, question. So if we do this and we're strong about it and we stand united, does this put us, this just keeps us out of the drowning. This does not put us on a track to regain, okay.
And even with level spending, you're still in a deficit scenario. So, and that's where that actually empowers the town, the municipal side of the town, to go to the school and say, we're out of resources. We've got nothing. Or it invigorates your citizens to say, we need more than just one day a week, in the town clerk's office or the town administrator's office open every week. Because that's sort of the reality. Your reduction in services, I don't think your citizens have experienced that yet, where there's only one day the building's open.
Do we have anybody who's monitoring that? Like, for example, is the clerk's office saying 53 people came in today and here's what they wanted: dog license, marriage license, chit chat?
No, but Even if
It won't matter.
it won't matter, yeah,
If
Lori's
it's
right.
one day a week, they'll have to come that day a week.
Well, I understand it doesn't matter, but
How people don't experience interference or disappointment until they get here and the door's locked.
you're talking about the people, but I'm talking about the office itself. How many people do they serve? I mean, is it 100?
Kind of irrelevant.
It doesn't really
It's
matter.
irrelevant.
I'm not trying to be rude, but it just doesn't really matter.
They'll still service the same number of people, just
It's gonna
On
take
one
longer.
day.
Just,
It's
yeah.
gonna take longer.
And it's library,
Right.
it's senior center, it's everything. Like
Right.
band concerts, committees, like when you're
Or we can handle that.
looking at like
We got that under
$400,000
control this
deficit,
year.
it's anything that's left that, isn't one day a week. It's all right. What can you do? So that's where the budget's really going to be built out of. So
And I'm thinking more of, it's how many hours to do the required work. There are many offices that have to do a set amount of work for different things. I think a town clerk, they have to file with the state with a lot of things. They have to be open. The treasurer has to be there to collect money. So there's going to be a certain number of hours. And now with CPA, we have hours, again, the CPA is going to bring in revenue. And I think it's up to 5% of that can be spent on administrative. So how are we going to monitor the number of hours we're spending on CPA work?
Because I've had 2 employees approach me about, what happens if we have to cut, and I say, you get done what you can get done. That's the reality of the
But
situation.
some things
Yeah.
have to be done.
Oh,
Some
yeah, I
things
know.
have-
But it's
Oh,
the
of
bare
course.
minimum. Right.
But you do those first.
Yeah,
And
so
make sure you get
it's,
those
we,
done.
if we can't, how am I gonna get this work done if I don't have the employees in the money? It's like, which comes first? If we can't pay you, you have to prioritize and do less. And there's nothing, we're not saying which of those things you do or don't do. We're just saying this is all we can give you for funds.
I mean, and the corner office there, the town administrator is one of the ones to fall. And that you'd say, well, we will just hire a part-time guy for 8 hours a week and pay them $60 an hour, and that's it. Because they're literally just keeping the lights on to make sure the building functions for the one day it's open, Wednesday every week. And
But I know, like, for the town clerk's office, and I can only speak for that office because I know it, but when we have early voting in person, it has to be open a certain amount of.
Is it required or recommended?
I know weekends, it's 6 hours on a weekend. It can be 6 hours on Saturday or Sunday, or 3 and 3.
So then the town
But it's
clerk would just say,
required, and I believe, I don't know about the rest, it's office hours.
right. So it'd be Wednesdays and Saturdays and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So do we need a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say the boards can deliberate, or you can tell me to be quiet, or you can make a motion. Because in order for this to really come to fruition, it needs to come from both boards. Hiring freeze, any posting that's on the board or on MMA's got to come down on the 11th, because I think you could make you don't have to make the motion tonight per se, but at the next meeting, there has to be a vote by each board.
Well, let's just do it tonight.
So this is a hiring freeze for any open positions, not new positions. You're talking any open positions.
Open or new, I think.
I think it's open or new.
Anything.
Or new, okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay, I just
don't
wanted
like-
to make sure it was for both, and
Yeah.
not just new.
Yeah, and that gives hardship to the police department, because they've lost a couple.
And we have 20% vacancies.
Yeah,
20% of my force is vacant.
yeah.
I have 3 openings I have to start now, and I have a lag of about 9 months. If you tell me now that I'm good to hire, it takes me 9 months to identify a person that is now ready to join us and get on the field. So it's like a tail wagging the dog a little bit. Last year, when I was told at the very end of the year, about this time to freeze a position, we had people in the pipe. In order to get those people back in the pipe is about a 6-month process. And then getting them through a 6-month academy and then a 3-month period of training. You're looking at a significant lag for a decision like this in its outcrop for me. So I'd have to meet with them and kind of put down a timeline as to what that looks like for my vacancies. Again, 20%. The issue that I think you run into in my specific situation Mary Jane touched on it, which is we do have a contract for minimum manning. So it is virtually impossible for me to make good on a contract we have with our employees relative to how many people will be working with the staffing level that we are currently at without hiring. That would be impossible. You'd work your guys to death to do it, and I'm not even sure even then mandatory overtime you would even get it done. I don't know how I would be able to do that. So I think we have some contractual legal things to talk about relative to it for my specific situation anyway.
Yeah.
I think a lot of departments are going to be in that situation. And there's going to be trade-offs where we lose some state funding if we do this. And we have to look at that and say, where do we spend here? Because we're going to lose more if we don't.
So maybe we should talk about the police contracts then and the warrant articles, because that makes a difference as far as the police department goes.
But,
So you're saying before you vote,
but does that,
make a motion?
is that related to the overall thing? Is that
Well,
separate?
I guess my question for the chief is, if we put a freeze in place now, that would be lifted if the votes pass at town meeting, special town meeting and the other. Could you be doing behind the scenes work to bring someone on July 1st if everything came out positively?
Yeah, so a couple things. I think I insulate you from that kind of liability with my hire just because we have conditional offers of employment, and as one of those conditions are approval by the board of selectmen and a funding source. So that you giving me the lifting me the hiring freeze and saying, yeah, go ahead and hire, there still is always that safety net that exists, which is there's going to be a date and time where I say, I'm ready to bring the guy on. You look at it then and hire. So our conditional offers to employer last for a long time because of that long hiring practice. So you could pull the pin anytime. You have to think about what that means to a prospective applicant. We are tough. We are not easy to get hired at. That is purposeful. Hire hard, supervise easy. Hire easy, supervise hard. That's my motto. I think it bears out in our performance over the last 5 years. I don't think anybody here would argue that. So keeping those standards that high and you're attracting the best, or I figure the best is out there, knowing that job can be yanked out from underneath them any time. Is that the best thing to put on a recruiting poster? There is those considerations to make. There are those considerations to make, but suffice to say, anybody that I give a conditional offer of employment for, and quite honestly, you could tell me that you could have 5 guys now, Chief, go ahead and do it. None of those guys are going to hit ground before this fiscal year anyway, even if I put that on a rocket docket. It's just not possible. We have a very thorough background investigation and a very thorough hiring process. I invite anybody here to come to the station. I'd be happy to explain it to you more in detail, but it's pretty significant. So if you list the hiring freeze for me, I guess what I'm saying is there's always the safety valve that we have, that we enter in with people that we hire, that has to be contingent on funding and approval from the board.
And that was, so I thought of police because I knew he was presenting tonight. Now he probably, again, wishes he presented.
No, I'm good.
But we as a select board have a meeting on the 10th. We're supposed to have a joint meeting with FinCom that night. So
The 10th of February again?
Right. Yeah. So, and I know we're meeting in executive session with Labor Council that night because this is going to become an issue. And the thought is I want some of my marching orders for how to work with folks in union, sides from that point on. That's sort of my goal. That's why I put the 11th on there, thinking it gave us a week to have some more conversation about it. People will probably drop by the interim TA office and yell at me and scream at me, which is fine. I just don't know what to do or how to help you guys. Like this is what towns go through.
Well, I really appreciate your honesty, and I really appreciate the in-depth work that you did, because truthfully, we haven't seen this at FinCom, or at least not since we've been here. Yeah, I'm very appreciative of your hard work.
Yeah.
And it's, I am, some of the fun math organization was the gentleman who's helping me as the interim TA, and he and I spent several hours trying to go through this, and he's like, you got to flip every rock right now. Like this is that it's really that 800K in 23 is you're paying the impact of that. That's what's going on.
And that was because we didn't pass no ride, and Pepperell and Ashby both passed the school budget. So we had to look at that.
And that's why we lost trash, because to pay that money, the only place to get it without an override was from the trash contract. And that's why we wound up with purple bags.
And so that's the way it is, and nobody wants to believe that apparently, but that is the fact. So where I would make a motion is for number 2, in order to give departments time to look at what they, and I'm not necessarily thinking about the police department or.
There's a lot of departments that also have to work with their boards in order to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Library, conservation, whatever the board might be, they do have to work with their colleagues, especially elected boards. They catch up with their folks.
So my motion today would be for level funding for,
level spending.
level spending.
The funding is different.
Money is already
Yeah,
level, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That works itself out.
So, and that includes for, salaries, not just expenses.
Everything. Yeah, like I
So
said, you
it's
get $100, chop it up any way you see fit. But if you run out of copier supplies, you better open a computer.
And I will say that I think most of our departments are working on, they have already cut most of those things, so they're gonna have to look elsewhere.
It's gonna have
A lot
to
of them
come
have
from the
zeros in those
salary
lines,
lines,
so it's gonna
because
have to come from.
the expense lines were decimated last year in order to make our budget work. So anyway, if you want that motion, I would make that motion
I was just
today.
say a little more discussion on, because right now I would say an open position is a town administrator position. So if we're talking about doing a freeze on the 11th, are we talking about freezing it and continuing with interim? Are we, before we?
This wasn't self-serving, so I.
Yeah, no,
I figured I was finish up with you guys in July and set sail.
So we have until July 10th with the current contract.
Yeah.
So I would say for now, this is what it is. And it is across, I don't think, if we start making exceptions.
Well, it's not, it gets to the, what's the search for a town administrator take? It's kind of like, so we freeze on February 11th, do we have to revisit it sometime in April so that?
I mean, the select board could take a vote on that at any point in time.
Yeah.
As the hiring authority technically.
Right. So why don't we want to make the motion for 1 and 2, just 2, not 1?
So one, if I'm catching the synopsis correctly, is we do have some collective bargaining folks we have to check with, and I do think it would be, it's gonna help me a little bit. I didn't really think 1 would be voted on tonight. Maybe the more I think about it with, Police Chief Sartell here and other groups, I think.
If I could add one thing about that, the hiring freeze, in addition to the collective bargaining mandates that we have, we also are begun for some statewide mandates and law and legal and regulatory compliance mandates that some of these administrative positions are obligated, and I don't mean that in the sense of that's their job. I mean, they are legally obligated to provide certain information. I get records requests, I get court mandates, I get discovery requests, Freedom of Information Act, public records requests, cold case records requests, those types of things that I cannot sit on. And not having someone do that, I don't know what the sanctions would look like. I don't know where they would come from. I'd like not to see that, to be honest, because I think that equals legal bills. And at $250 an hour, I think that would pile up real fast. And I can tell you in no uncertain terms, my records position, for instance, we would run into that really fast. I have certification issues. We have insurance. We have all kinds of mandates, regulatory mandates to meet. And that may not be something that I can tell you I have a contract, other than we had a big meeting and it's called Massachusetts General Law. That tells me that is what it is. So there is that consideration. So if I was to make a recommendation or suggestion, it would be to meet with the department heads and find out what that looks like. What does it look like? What do those open positions look like? And look to get frank honesty from your people relative to, is that something you can pass on? We had this discussion last year with our 15th position, I can tell you from experience. And I think that's the same kind of discussion you should have this year. I think the intent is very clear and I think it's unambiguous, but I do think it's complex.
Everything is complex here, so.
And unfortunately, I think Chief Sartell, I think you're the most openings right now.
Right.
Across the board, so.
Percentage-wise.
So, I don't know if that answered the question, but maybe it's, I notify every budget of level spending, and we revisit this on 210 in terms of hiring freeze, and gives me, tomorrow and Thursday to catch up with some department heads and sort of share the news, if you will.
I have another question. So if it's to remove all vacant positions, that means nobody's in it right now. Well, I'm not gonna talk about the police, because I understand that's different. But for the vacant positions from online and building postings, So if they're not there, are they necessary? Are we getting along without them right now and we're doing,
Well, if you were looking
flopping
at
along
the,
with the
yeah,
exception?
yeah, if you looked on the board and then like I just it caught my eye
Yeah.
earlier, like town accountant was up there. And I've gotten a resume, I think it was late last week for it. It's like, we're not in a position to hire, but I think we touched on it at the FinCom meeting.
Yeah, but we have an accountant.
We have a
work being
contractor.
done, because we have, okay, right.
So like,
So the job's getting done.
correct. So I would just leave it alone. I would pull that down for now and just keep on the contractor.
Maybe we would it be in our best interest to know what those positions are that are?
I think
Go away?
I think it's a slippery slope though, once you
Yeah, I
start.
don't want to cherry pick per se.
I'm not saying to cherry pick, just to say, just to get an idea of what the government would look like. Well, I guess it is looking like right now, if those positions are not filled, but you just told me the accountant is filled.
Because it's through a contract, yeah. the
Correct,
town-
but there
the
may
town
be,
needs a town
but there may be
accountant.
certain positions that there isn't at contract.
Well, I
So
think
it's
that would
not
be
getting
up-
done.
That would be up to the department head to be like, all right, maybe I don't need, Kieran, the town administrator. The select board may say, we don't really need Kieran. We're gonna do it on our own. That's up to the department head. They are the department head. So the department head, again, has $100 to spend. They've got to decide how they're gonna live within that budget.
So what about number 2? Number 1, we hold off till next week.
Yep, so number 2 would just be a motion from select board and then FinCom directing me to require that all department heads build a budget that is level spending.
All right.
You could say so moved.
I have a question. So moved.
Seconded.
Oh, somebody has a question.
But are we realistically even going to have enough income for level spending?
Oh, there you go.
Probably not,
Start there, right?
but I gotta start somewhere.
All right, so
You
there's a
have to tell
motion
them
on the
it's gonna
floor
be
with a
less.
second.
But
Oh, I
you
will.
have to tell them it's gonna be less than that, because we don't have it.
So then with that in mind, once they've shared the level spending budget, it's like, in order to meet the deficit that we have, can you live with being open 1 day a week?
But it may not, it could be 3 days a week,
Yeah, it could be.
right? I mean, depending on what it is.
It
What
truly
the
depends
outcome-
on the role.
Right. Oh, the role?
I mean, again, the town administrator can be here 1 day a week when the building's open, and then you'd only pay somebody for 1 day a week. And that would save you a significant amount.
What about those contract people those union people? I mean,
Do you
do they
need,
get paid X whether they're working or not?
I think that's why we're having meetings
That's-
next week to figure out
Yeah.
how those logistics
yeah,
work.
that's next.
Oh, okay.
But if you're still gonna have a deficit, so if you tell everybody that they gotta come with a level spending, but that's not real because you're saying there's a deficit.
Mhm.
So why don't we just go in with the real number and say you gotta not do level spending, you gotta cut everything by 1% or 2% or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
process.
the real,
Yeah,
what the reality is.
Yeah, you do have to have a process, and you do have to involve your collective bargaining agreements at some point, and you need to work with them to say, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna bring to the table?
Okay.
And you'd say that to school as well. You'd say, school district, we're 400 in the hole. Is there any wiggle room on your 4.65% budget increase? Can you make it 4?
Human resources.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to them to say, is there any reality that you could constrain?
I also would say that this puts the power in the department heads, because none of us know how to run a highway department or a police department or any of those other departments. And this puts that
Well-
back in their hands.
Which makes a good point, because highway's gonna be out there. If there's snow, they have to be out there.
Or maybe not. We may say that we don't plow unless there's 5 inches of snow on the ground.
Well, good luck to the
Rather than
police department and the
Like-
fire
It's
department
the-
then, because that's gonna jack up what they're
If
paid.
the amount of snow is less than 2 inches, you don't plow until 7 a.m.
But that's for
And the
highway to
schools-
decide what the
That's
amount of money
highway's
we're
call.
giving.
Yeah,
For
their
them
call,
to
but
do with
that's
the
true.
$100.
Whatever we get, whatever we can afford to give them.
Question.
Can't afford
It's
it.
gnarly, like, it's not
I've been
pretty.
asking that question about why are we plowing a quarter inch of snow? Since I moved here, upwards of, over 15, 16, that's a long time. And, I came up from Pennsylvania and maybe if, the main
highway, like 119 here, but, and 13 were plowed, but, Old City and Tyler, they got plowed later.
Yeah, I hear you.
And, you know, so I know, I've always been very amazed, to the point of being a little upset, that my tax money is going to pay to these guys. And I do know there is, I wouldn't, and nobody else would, of our contractors, go out for, you know, a 1 hour job. There's gotta be a certain minimum length of time if I'm gonna get in that truck and drive. And I know all about that stuff, but it's about when do you get into that truck in the first place?
Yeah.
I also know that the new, I assume he's still using the, a half-dozen-year-old, or more, pre-salting on the road or pre-treating the roads. I assume they're still doing that at the highway department?
I'll let you ask the department head at the next meeting.
Okay.
But
If
don't
that's
be mean
okay.
to him, because he's really trying to.
I know.
But we do have a motion on the floor from the select board, so
Is it
just to
second?
rein us back in.
Second?
It was
Number
second by the
two?
whole, this is the
Okay.
select board.
We don't get to vote this one.
Right,
We will have to.
We're in joint.
No, I get it, but we're not voting, you are right now, and then
We
we will.
can vote our own.
And then
they
we vote
can
ours,
theirs.
right.
Okay.
And then we'll get the
And
police
just-
chief the
And then
floor.
we'll get the, yeah.
Holding him hostage.
Does it have to do with the motion that's on the floor?
No, that's all right. I've
Are
already
you
got my
good?
answer.
Yeah,
I got my answer.
figured that.
Okay, all right, I thought there was a question. So, all right, is the select board ready to vote on the motion that's been made and seconded?
This is to direct the departments to submit level spending FY 2027 budget.
Seconded.
And it's seconded. So,
Okay, any further discussion from the select board? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Veronica Cal, yes.
Holly Goodrich, yes.
and Laura Schiffern, yes. John?
Okay. Now, I will entertain a motion for the select board for the same.
I make a motion that
You
we,
mean the
Recommend.
yeah, recommend level spending, no increase for prior year allocation for FY 2027.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dave. Any further discussion or questions from finance committee? None. Roll call vote.
Just a second. Shouldn't there be a caveat if we don't, level funding may be less than level?
Level spending is different than funding.
Yeah, level spending.
Yeah.
But what if we still don't have the funds?
This is just to get
Then
it
we have
started.
to-
This is just
This is
start.
the discussion.
Okay, I just thought that's the part, just
Let's
in
see
case.
what
Well, then it will
Part of
give
the
you an
fund.
idea of where they're at
Right.
Oh, it's okay.
and
Okay.
to take it
They
from
gotta
there.
go- they gotta go where they were last week, whatever, this year. But we may have to go lower. I thought that we may have to go lower to be part of the recommendation.
That's
Oh.
part of the discussion I think Karen is gonna have with the department heads as they go, but it needs to start with the.
Okay.
Are we voting?
Okay,
Ready?
ready to vote? Who wants to?
Dan Grant, yes. Dave Walker, yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Kathleen Sparta, yes.
Carolyn Blake is yes.
Don Hayes, yes. Unanimous.
So, oh, you took it down? Why did you take it down? Okay, oh, that's right.
It's, yeah, on the left. Yeah.
I just really like it. Can't read this.
It's a little difficult.
Yeah.
I gotta take my glasses off to read it. I can read it, but
Put my readers on. Read it.
now I can take my glasses off to read it. Then I can see it.
I made the motion. I don't know.
It's right there, that first one. Do you read it? Do you want me to read it to you?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I can actually kind of see it.
Yeah, you wanna?
I don't remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't show my password.
Make sure you have that.
I told Sabrina not to make me copies.
Screen. Okay, you sure you wanna go through with this now?
Sure, yeah, no, it's perfect timing, perfect timing. So yeah, when you folks are ready, I can get started. So first things first, presented with a really interesting scenarios here. And I gotta give you the cautionary tale that we are about to take a drink out of a fire hydrant. There's a lot of information here. I'm gonna kind of read the room and kind of figure out what you want from me. I do have a very quick 8 or 9 slide PowerPoint that I can give you my macro view of things. But suffice to say, the budget memo contains all the information for my budget from stem to stern. There are 3 scenarios that I was asked to account for in submitting by budget. Scenario 1 is very close to what Karen had just advanced, which is a very basic budget, assuming no raises and no movement at all with collective bargaining. Scenario 2 is that negotiated wages for 26 passes at special town meeting, and we move forward with that. And scenario 3 is if the override passes and years 2 and 3 kick in for our collective bargaining contract that we just, or negotiations that we just wrapped up. So those are the 3 budget scenarios that I have. Sorry.
When you said, I forget what you said, about the override. Did you say your override, or did you say town override?
I'm not involved in the decision as to what gets an override, or what's put into the override, but it's.
Are you going for an override just for the police, or are you going for an override for the town?
You would have to ask the board. That's not my purview.
There is it's one of the warrant articles for, the special town meeting in February. Actually, there are 2 warrant articles. And this was from negotiations with the police union. The police are out of contract. Their contract ended in June of 26. So the first one is to bring them up 4%, the same 4% increase that all the other departments got for FY 26. Thank you. And that will be covered using ARPA funds, the ARPA funds that we have remaining for general government. And that is a 1-year memorandum of understanding. The second warrant article is asking for an override of $370,000.
$27,000.
$327,000 for the police department to fund fiscal year 28 and 27 and 28, based on the terms in the contract.
So that is why there are these 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 is nothing passes. Scenario 2 is that 1-year contract for 4% passes. And scenario 3 is the override passes, and we get all the enchilada, the whole thing. So it's a pretty significant,
If the override passes, does that have to go to a townwide vote as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to put the article on the February 25th, and
So
then we'll vote it at the annual election.
Okay.
The town election.
So those are the 3 budgets that you will find worksheets attached to this memo on. Not asking you to look at those now. I will explain the rationale, but just continuing this package so you can use this later when I'm not here. The second document in there is our staffing matrix. It'll give you an idea of exactly what the amount of positions we have and whether or not they're filled or whether or not they're vacant, whether or not they're authorized or approved, that type of thing. The third one is a organizational chart, so you can understand how the department operates from an organizational standpoint. And then it's just, it also included a section where it actually has the people's names associated with the positions and exactly which ones are vacant. Then there is, for the math geeks in the room, there is the numbers. That memo summary and explanation details the numbers. It really crunches the data in between these 3, and you will be able to come up with that 327,000 figure by comparing these various budgets, if that makes sense to you. Again, not asking you to consume that now, but that is there for you. And then there are the 3 wage worksheets budget worksheets for you. What I will do is they are all predicated on leveled expenses. So I went in and the same expenses apply for all 3 budgets. The only thing driving this ship other than that is these wages and what goes before town meeting for wages. and for union stuff. So what I would do is, I'm gonna hand you out that level budget or that fiscal 27 budget with nothing passes at town meeting at all. So if we had no, the collective bargaining agreements all go down, I think I have 10, so.
Is it the FY 25, 27, 25?
Yep, good to go?
Yeah.
Here you go. I got it. I've got it. I had 10.
Thank you.
So this is if we are frozen at 25 wages. And the expenses at the bottom, and I'll kind of give you an overview. We'll do this in a second. If I can draw your attention to the overhead, I'll give you an idea of where I'm getting my my math. That represents my salaries to personal services through expenses. As you can see, we only have 16% of our budget is anything but salaries. Moving on and looking at what that looks like when you break it down, the blue is their salaries. Everything else is overtime. Their incentives and stipends, which is Quinville stuff. And that little tiny little slice of 1% is training wages. That has been under assault for the last few years, and that's a major concern of ours because we have some legal mandates now due to post in police reform that happened a few years back, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we go. So for inside that personal services, you can see we can only operate in that 13% area unless we lay off. That 13% area is my overtime wages and my training wages. That blue is frozen the day that those guys sign up and come to work. Them coming to work, going on vacation, that is frozen. We can look at tinkering around with that orange one if we want, but that is all we have for discretionary spending in that, if you want to call it discretionary spending. This is our overtime since I started the budget. The highs and the lows are pretty easy to explain. That low one is fully staffed. The high one is when I've got multiple openings. I venture a guess, given my monthly review, that our 26 one is probably going to be not quite that, 19 number, but pretty darn close to it because of those vacancies. Mm-hmm. So if we want to live in this area here, which I think is our goal, is to live somewhere in the 150 to 200, which I say is like 175 is splitting the baby. I think that mandates that we maintain a consistent staffing level. The volatility that this slide does not show is what it takes us to get back up to staffing levels and how that's throwing good money after bad. And what I mean by that is if every year we're going back to the kitty every year to spend tens of thousands of dollars to rehire people rather than give it to the people that we have on the street now, we're throwing good money after bad. Retaining our employees is our number one cost control measure that we have. Not doing that, we spend more money here in overtime, and we also spend it downstream in hiring people. Hiring people is incredibly expensive. The resources that go into that, psychological exams, physical exams, background examinations, the overtime I spent to make that happen, it's a very significant thing. And again, it's not just this line that's affected by openings. There are a number of other ones that are equally affected.
There are countless studies that hammer this theory that it's so much more expensive to lose somebody. Use this little mouse in orange. Yeah. It's so much more expensive to lose someone and retrain them up than it is the other way around.
All right, there we go. So here's the equipment expenses, the police expenses, and the expenses. I broke it up this way just to kind of show the same type of idea. That equipment and capital, that is kind of frozen. I mean, I have body cameras, we have tasers, we have weapon systems, we have motor vehicle radars, we have all these things that are in that 48% kind of deal. The facilities and utilities, we've had deferred maintenance for years in our building. I take pride in the building. I encourage you to come by. I feel as though we do the best we can with what we have. I feel as though you let your children leave their coats on the table. The next thing the lunchbox is there. The next thing the table is broken. That's the same principle at the police station as well. If I don't maintain an air of discipline, the place falls apart. I mean, it's as simple as that. It really is that simple. Not to mention, we are under mandates for our facility. We have cell inspections on the quarterly. We have to have the water at a certain temperature. The air has to be at a separate temperature. We have to have certain cells. They have to be equipped a certain way. I could go on and on about that. So that's a little bit frozen as well. Then the vehicle and fleet, that's the gasoline. That keeps our motor running. Again, it's fixed. Those of you that have been around with me for the ride know we have leveled that. We really have done a great job in leveling the cost of our fleet so that we're not riding around junk and constantly repairing crappy vehicles and throwing that money around and using it there. We use it where we have half of our fleet is replaced every 3 years, which is really maintained a level as far as our spending goes in that area. But again, not a flexible area to spend.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
In that 12% vehicle and fleet, does that include the leases for the?
It does. Yep, it does. I think a little bit of both. It's in a little bit in capital for this particular slide I used, and a little bit in the vehicle and in the fleet door. So blue and orange for that. So it leaves us with really that 13 and 11. And the training and professional services is the stuff that I just talked about bringing new people on. Those costs are high, and I have to pay a psychologist to meet with my guy, to send tests and to have him conduct the tests and then go do a one-on-one. We have to send him in for physicals. There's drug testing, and there's a whole slew of things that happen in that area. And then I ask you about the risk that we have. Right now, we have 3 men driving around this community right now with tasers, a metal bar on their belt, and a firearm, with 50 rounds of ammunition, driving a car around in this weather. There's a lot of liability there. You are all taking a gamble that I am training them to drive a vehicle under those extreme conditions. Did we do that? You're all hoping I did that, right? Right? Their annual firearms qualifications, their annual taser qualifications. If they tase somebody that has a pacemaker and they pass away, we'll be on the front page of the Herald in no time, quick. So you're hoping that I am doing that, and you can rest assured I am. You pay me handsomely to do that, and I'm happy to do that. We run into danger when we start slicing and dicing without those considerations in place, in my humble opinion. And then the other operating expenses are everything else that we need to make our station go around. Spacebar. There you go. So I'll draw your attention to that worksheet that I handed out with my little thought bubbles. To make good on Kieran's exercise, if we were to do that tonight, for me, what I would do is I would remove $64,000 from the line in the first thought bubble. That's that frozen position, suspended position that I did not fund for fiscal 26. That's in here. So if I take that out, you can see that $64,000 brings you right around that 815 mark. I'd probably be pretty darn close to level. So that's how I would make good on that in this situation. But that's what's driving that 8%. The training mandate, I think I just made a case for that. We do have some state mandates that I have to keep in mind. I'm required to train our guys at a certain level, and quite frankly, those levels are less than what I feel as though manages risk for this community properly. I think the training levels are always set low. There is that's what's driving that $25,000 figure. I would hazard a guess, if you look over to the left, you'll see what the real expenses are for that. And I can tell you in no uncertain terms that doesn't cover it. I'm eating a lot of our overtime in those trainings as well. So we're blowing that double. And I can tell you that that's not coming near to where we need to make sure we're doing that to a level where we're protecting our community from lawsuits, not to mention nuisance lawsuits. Move down and you'll find the energy expenses. That's a sticky wicket, but I want to talk about it. We do have the solar canopy. We got word again this week from Select that they want us to move the box and move stuff around, and they're not very cooperative getting that thing up and running for sure. And that means the electric company, they're not very easy to work with, but they are here. I don't know when that's going online. I have no idea. I can tell you that we cannot sustain the energy based on the figures that I have budgeted for 26. I can tell you that.
So you're not getting any solar power from that?
As of today, nothing, because it hasn't been turned on and juiced. Again, we are in the queue for the final sign off by the state or by the electric company. They come now, they want us to move where we have stuff. So we're in the process of kind of understanding that and what that works on. It's been a long process. Suffice to say, when that comes in, if this was our company and we weren't talking, if this was just you and me talking and we had a 2-man firm, I would tell you we fund it like we didn't have the thing until we can take some data in and determine what this thing is really going to save us before we go cutting. I have to heat that building clearly. So heat the building, keep the lights on. I mean, we have to all those. So that $25,000 figure we put in there last year does not reflect what we're going to spend. It doesn't. I asked for 28. I still think that's a little dicey. I can tell you if we turn it on and that happy accident happens and we spend 14 of the 28, outstanding. Great. Goes back in the general fund. We start over again, right? But coming to you halfway through the year, 3/4 of the way through the year, I don't think that's what you expect me to do as far as being the steward for this budget for me.
Moving on, I think the next two big areas, which are repairing, maintaining the building and equipment, there's some deferred maintenance costs here. Mary Jane had brought this up last year when we were talking about that, and she pointed out very rightfully, if you're not spending that every year, Chief, why would we fund it again? Well, the reason we're not spending is because we were told in the third quarter not to spend anymore. So any of my ammo purchases or any maintenance that we had planned was deferred to the next year. Doesn't mean it went away. Doesn't mean those concerns went away. Doesn't mean that went away. All it meant is we're going to do it next year. And if next year you reduce my funding, we're going to get into this vicious circle and the building's going to fall down around our ears. You'll see the West Townsend Reading Room, but it's 70 Brookline Road. That's how it works. I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean,
deferred maintenance.
So they're both modest increases. They're only $1,000 or $2,000 each one. And then the last thought bubble is the one I told you about of increased hiring expenses. It's more expensive to send someone to a shrink. It's more expensive to put them through all the testing that we're required to put them through. That just is the reality of it. The total overall increase from 26 to 27 is $10,300, which is less than 0.5% of my total budget. So other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how would you like to play? So I encourage you to look at the three budgets that were submitted. You have all of the information. You've got there's a lot of data in there. I explained the rationale for it. I explained what we do. I have worked with many of you in the room here, so we zero base our budget every year. I go through every single one of our monthly bills. We track them. If they need to be reduced, they're reduced. If they need to be up, they're up. That's the way we do it there. We have ledgers for each of these lines, and we pay real close attention to it. That is what you pay our administrative staff to do. And I think we do a darn good job. And I think we've come under budget every year since I've been in charge of the budget, which I think this is my 8th or 9th or maybe even 9th one maybe or something. So I think we have a proven track record that we will do what you ask us to do within the resources that are provided.
As a non-resident, and all you folks volunteer your time, this is a moment where I would have taken the chief's information as a resident and really chatted with my colleagues in my neighborhood to be like, what do you think about voting a little extra out of your pocket to help ensure safety, building maintenance, quality first responders? It's really an inflection point for different departments and different committees of volunteers to decide, how do you want your town to handle crisis that nobody else wants to do? Like, it's not fun being the first police officer to the scene of a crime when something is, breaking and entering, or someone snapped their ankle playing soccer. These guys do it, and so do your fire, and so do other folks in your town. So it's important to bring this information that he shared with you back to your own little boroughs and your little neighborhoods, and really decide as a town what you want the makeup to look like.
Put a little meat on the bones as far as what Kieran's saying is I did submit my annual report to the town on Friday. I know they're in the process of aggregating it. I would encourage you to read that. We have a very vibrant department. There's a lot going on. I encourage you to follow us on social media. We have a ton going on. We have, made some significant advancements in the way that we do things. Our record keeping, our releasing of records, our outreach with the news, our general outreach in the community in general is very, very good. We sponsor a number of community events a year. That stuff is all documented. I think we do a decent job by all measure. When I look at that, I do look at it from stem to stern, and I figure if it does not serve our primary purpose, which is prevent crime and disorder, I throw it under the microscope. Then why are we doing it at all? That's the way that we have to run this department given these lean times. We are not increasing services. We're doing the best we can with what we have. We have added programs. We added a K-9 program to no cost to the taxpayers. We have added programs, and when we do that, we do it through grant funding. We have done a significant job in grant funding in our department. I think Veronica would attest to that. I can't remember at this point what that total would be since I've been there, but it's probably approaching $500,000 or something along them lines. We've got an accreditation grant that we have happening right now where we're going through our entire policies and procedures of our organization, including on-site inspections to maintain best practices and to ensure that. Hopefully looking down the road that our risk management people look at that and say, geesh, we're less likely to get sued because they're doing things to best practices, not just cooking this up in the back room between all of them and deciding what their taser policy is or what their use of force policy is or And again, I can't underscore this enough. We have serious incidents going on. We have uses of force on a fairly regular basis due to the nature of our work. They are reviewed on a case-by-case basis, as is normal. We have complaints that come in. We have things going on. It's not as sleepy as a town as a lot of people believe that it is. My town report, I think I articulate that as best I can, but I do encourage you to be to follow our social media and to be inquisitive about that stuff. I'm more than happy to sit down with anybody here, and I have with many of you anyways. That door is always open, coffee is always on.
Any questions for the chief?
When you had the solar canopy put in, did they give you an estimate of how much they thought that would save you when it was online?
Oh boy, yeah, yes, but I think it was super optimistic because they're looking to sell it. Right? I mean so I have to wait for that to come back and kind of look at that. It's not your stereotypical agreement that most people have come to realize that we then juice the system. They agree to sell us electricity from that solar panel at a decreased rate. And at least cover at least X amount. So I can estimate very roughly what that will give us if it meets their minimum standards. But again, it is all subjective to what it actually produces when it goes online.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm more than happy to work with you offline and give you more of that information, but we'll get wrapped around the axle fast. It is very different than what the average panels on someone's house looks like. It is not constructed that way at all. We basically agreed to lease them the space to put solar panels on. In exchange, they agreed to sell us electricity really cheap for a certain amount of time. Okay. Is how that agreement is working. It wasn't my agreement. Wasn't the architect of it. I inherited it. But I do think it's good for when it does get online for a number of reasons we can talk about. But until that data comes in, I'm hesitant. I'm conservative when I budget because I do not want to be the guy at the end of the year coming to my colleagues and saying, you need to do something to help me because we couldn't plan this out. That's pretty foreseeable to me. I'm watching TV and I'm seeing the advertisements about the electric bills in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I would be foolish not to recommend increases in that area. It'd be foolhardy.
I don't disagree with that.
What I don't understand is why are they telling you to move? So why didn't when they were installing it?
Yeah, it's at no cost to us. The only problem is it's at cost to us because we're not buying the electricity at the cheaper rate for a while. But I'm not sure if it was an inspection issue, if it was, I don't know what the technical rationale and reason behind it. I can tell you, and I would state very publicly that they're not easy to deal with. And they're not happy to have you leave them as a customer. If you call them and you want to cancel your cellular phone, all of a sudden the app doesn't work. There's a reason for that, right? And that's kind of the same, I think, area that we're in. They're just not cooperative with it. That being said, I think we'll work through it. We'll get them up and I'll get them
the
up.
solar company's not cooperative?
No, the electric company, correct. Yeah, they want to get going quick because they make money.
Right.
Eversource does not make money or whatever the electric company.
And they take a while to hook things up.
I think this is probably a really important one.
Sure.
A lot of citizens have asked me when they will receive the details of what that override entails.
I don't think that's a question for the police chief. I think that's a question for the Board of Selectmen. I mean, I can give you the numbers as to what that is. If the decision of the Board of Selectmen is to have an override specific to that contract, we can arrive at that number. And I think Karen has that number for you. But I don't think that that's my place. Now, I can give you the figures and help you arrive at that number, but what the select board decides they want to put for an override, I don't know if there's other general services that they're looking to get override. I don't know where that is. But I can tell you that
the override is just for the police, the one that is going on this warrant in February, and the question will be just for the police.
And it's important to understand that that's just to fund fiscal 27. Fiscal 28, it would be baked in.
The amount was 327,000, correct?
Yeah. So can I just get clarification? That's for a 1 year amount.
Yes, because year one gets funded by ARPA through the special town meeting. Year two is the override. Year three gets baked in. That's why it's 2%. At least that was my understanding.
Layered. For anybody listening.
Sure. Yep. No, and I think that having those contracts posted would probably be a good idea. frank.
So if,
You know, we can, now we have a ratified copy, we can sign, and then it
Of
is,
the contract?
yeah, it is pending
Yeah.
town meeting vote, special town meeting vote. So I'm gonna defer to just making sure I'm following the right path. So I see Veronica looking at me, I'm sure.
no, I just pulled up the DLS override calculator, which everybody can do. You can just Google DLS override calculator, put in change the town to Townsend, and you can find out based on the assessed value of the house, roughly how much it will be. So if your house is assessed at 450,000, it will be about $90 increase in your tax bill for the year.
For that $327,000 over.
For $327,000 override, correct.
Yeah, and I would likely, will take that website, and I think I've used a similar one, and probably build out a slide for another version of this budget presentation.
Yeah,
down
that's
the
a
road.
good idea. We gave a number last year when it was 1.2.
Makes people want to know, like, how's my piggy bank affected?
Well, does it save us a lot
Does that
this year?
include the CPA too, or you don't include that?
Yeah, CPA would be another few dollars.
That's a different.
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 Yeah, surcharge.
calculation.
But the CP, so as that goes up, so if you increase your tax assessment by, say, the $90, then your CPA is gonna go up by a fraction.
That is correct.
Accordingly.
The 3% of that, so.
1%.
Yeah, like
1%.
We only
Oh, so
do.
it's another 90
CPA
cents.
90
So
cents.
You're $91. $191 extra per year.
For the year.
Okay.
So, and it has all the
91.05, let's
different
round up.
assessment. If your house is assessed at $1 million, it's 210 a year. So,
Any other questions for the chief while he's here? This time.
There's one question I thought that would come up that didn't, so I think I'll fill the air, is that how did we arrive at those numbers? How did we determine what the officers got for raises? Where did that come from? Right, it wasn't just a number we pulled out of the air. The police union and I worked together to pull contracts from comparable communities. Kieran has a list of those comparable communities. Most of them, all of the Collins report communities are included in there. And I think they threw in a few others just for purposes of regional, being regional. Ashby, I think, was one, or whatever the case may be. And they averaged that out. Very difficult to do because contracts are complex and wages can be a funny thing. If I pay you a little, but then I throw you this big time sick buyback incentive, it gets tricky. So we did our best to kind of look at that and digest it. And based on fiscal 25 numbers, not fiscal 27, they were anywhere from 4 to 9% under average. So if you add the 5% conceivably growth the last 2 years, you move to 10% to 15 or 14% or whatever the heck that might be. It's pretty considerable. And again, it's below average. It's not average. It's below average. So again, recruiting posters and attracting the best of the best that I know you expect from police officers that respond to your community, you have to kind of make that decision as to what that means for you. I look at those overtime figures and I encourage you to look at it. That growth was pretty good. We had 1 year of 289, I think was the one real bad year, something crazy like that. Had you taken that overage from the 175, broke that up and divvied that out to guys, would you have been better off? Then you wouldn't have spent money on the 3 psychological investigations we had to do, sending guys out in the field to do backgrounds, count push-ups, whatever, all those things that we need to do to get a guy on. To get a guy on cost me $3,000 to $5,000 in equipment and uniforms alone. My buddy Joe and I, the chief that took over from me when I retired from my job up in New Hampshire, argue about this. I think it costs about $100,000 to get an officer from college to working a call by himself. My buddy Joe thinks it's about $150. In any event, you average that out, it's $125 before that guy works a call by himself. So I ask you, every guy that you let go that you have to replace, think about that. That's 2 full officers to get that officer, 2 full officers for a year to get that officer to work a call by himself. It's a pretty significant endeavor. I've got PowerPoints ready to go. If you want to come to the station, have a cup of coffee. It's what I do for a living. I'm more than happy to break it down to you to very, very granular fashion if you want. But suffice to say, retention is your best cost control measure, period. Hard stop. I don't care what I'll take every bit of information, anything I've studied, that's what it tells me. Being a training ground is not cost effective, not to mention the backside of that, which is an experience gap that can get you sued. And I do think that our legal expenses in this community, you don't need me to tell you, are a cost driver. And I think I only represent 10% of the town's expenses as far as a department goes, but I can tell you the liability, I don't know anybody else that's got that going on every day. They've got I think our guys drive between 85 and 90 miles a day around the roads of this town with a gun and a badge. That's a lot of liability you have. You know, whether or not you want them to be new guys that are 23, 24-year-old, I can tell you what I think of that.
So what is your retention rate? Is it?
We've had people leave, and when I conduct, what do they call those? Exit interview. Yeah, when I conduct exit interviews, which I just had one with us, and schedule is bad, pay is good. You know, those things come up. I mean, it is what it is. The job's not easy anyway. So I think we are in a recruiting crisis nationally for all these other reasons. You just throw this on top of it. But it's the worst it's ever been, and I've been a police officer for 30 years.
Now, are these same candidates going to the comparable communities?
I think so. I track it as best I can. We do have some good software to track where those candidates go. We do most of our hiring administratively stuff through an online portal that I can see where they end up. And then I'm pretty good at networking, so I know. Yeah, I think so. That's the way that it works. If you have a kid that grows up in Townsend or grows up in Pepper or grows up in Brookline, where's he going to work? Generally speaking, to be close to home.
Right.
As best you can. That's the other thing that happens as well, that we've had a couple of times where a kid comes up and works for us and then can't afford to live here because of housing prices, and then he goes back to where he's from. So I have to consider those things when I have a kid sitting before me that I'm about to invest $100,000 of your money into. We did do some good work in this contract to try and save us when we are involved in people coming for a training ground, getting back some of the resources that we allocated to them. That is a concession the union made in this contract. Highly encourage you to look at that so that they would end up having to pay us back some of the training money for it. I did it in the most responsible fashion that I could. I think when you read that, if you have questions, feel free to hit me online. But we are addressing that issue. But I don't want to force anybody to stay.
Oh, no.
Think about what that looks like. You know what I mean? We're talking about deprivation of rights. And that can't be your model. Now, is that a protection measure? Does it mitigate things? I think it does, because when I first joined, that informed my wife and I's plan. Like, I know I got to stay there for a couple of years, honey. I signed an agreement. I'm a rule follower. I'll do it. I think it does that more than it does the stick. And I just think that that's a mitigation technique. I do not think that that is a retention strategy. The retention strategy is to appreciate your people. And I think we do. I think we do a darn good job of making it a good place to work. And I highly encourage you to have frank conversations with the people that work for us, because I take that stuff personally. I think we make it a good place to work. I think our people are happy. I think they feel that they are valued. We do have some good officer wellness initiatives going on. I'm more than happy to talk to you about those if you're interested. So I think we can keep people that way, but that does not pay the bills. And you run into that. So I appreciate the support. I really do. And again, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to talk about this stuff. I could go all night.
I'm going to be a time watch and see if we can maybe shift back to the select board meeting. I think FinCom, I don't know if we have anything else on our agenda. I'll let the chief break out of here and
appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you very much.
And I don't know if we have anything else.
So Chief, I have one last question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
So in your list here of the positions where you list the people, you're saying you have 3 vacant positions right now.
Correct. 4 if you count the records clerk.
Right. If we were to say, okay, you've got 4, I can give you 2. Which 2 would you go for first?
I played this game with him already.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think I'd have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, because I think keeping that open position like we did last year is about as tight as we can get before we start running into minimum manning problems. It would definitely be on the police side, because I got to be honest with you and tell you, to have police officers out there is outstanding, and that's what you need. But you need proper administration. If you don't have proper administration, all you're doing is putting yourself out there in a risky way. So cutting back on the admin, and I mean my records coordinator, I mean my administrative assistant, I mean my police lieutenant, those people to make sure that we are doing things to a best practice and following the rules the regulations as we are supposed to, is equally as important as having proper patrol coverage. So I think it would probably be patrol staffing, but I think we're already doing that with our frozen position that we have. The budget before you puts that position back. If we take that position back out, we get to that pretty close to what Karen's
Okay,
asking.
the budget before us puts the patrol position back?
Correct.
Now currently says vacant, not funded?
Correct.
But there's another, we lost an officer. I see that the sergeant, we only have 2, but didn't we lose another patrol officer, Christopher Lowe?
Yes.
So
that should be
Christopher Lowe
that
should also be
represented.
highlighted on there.
Which one?
Christopher Lowe, number 3, under the patrol officers.
He left.
He left
Right.
recently.
Right. So that would be the third patrol vacancy.
Okay.
So we have 2 patrol vacancies right now and 1 sergeant. And then the admin, the records clerk.
Yep.
That one hasn't been funded for a very long time.
Okay.
But yes, if we ever had the pie in the sky, if we ever had the money, but
But
it's
we're
not
not-
included.
But the
in the
lieutenant
override.
position is not necessarily included in the
Not
emergency
funded.
request.
Right.
That is correct.
says it's not
in
funded,
the
it's not.
override. It's not put
Okay.
in there.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You guys must be tuckered out by me, but I will, revisit our agenda. I think those were the only 2 items for the joint meeting side of things. My select board colleagues have to continue to deal with me, I think, unless I'm
We
forgetting
have a lot
something.
Yeah,
to
we have
do.
a few more things.
Unless you had something else you wanted to go over.
I did not.
Can I make a motion that
You can make a motion.
FinCom adjourns?
Do we adjourn?
We have a motion on the table, second, we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and second, all in favor?
Okay, what's the time?
7:27.
7:28. 7, let's go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, FinCom. We'll hopefully like to see you on 2/10.
Karen,
Next week, so.
Yes, sir, yeah.
you were suggesting that to cut the hours for the administrator, who's usually the kingpin that holds all the mess together. Is there such a person out there that would take a part-time job?
Somebody who's probably retired and lives nearby town. That would be your,
Possibility, but not a probability.
but it's also, we're only open day a
Townsend
week.
email address
It is
to
what it
send
is.
you the agenda.
Decal@townsendma.gov.
It's not great.
Okay,
That's the one.
that's the one.
I don't
Yeah.
need anymore. I keep that.
Do I need to write it down, or do you, it's
No.
decal@townsendma.gov?
Yeah, I think it's on the website.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got the agenda for Friday.
Make sure everybody takes their stuff.
So I'll be sending it
Try
out
to take all
tomorrow.
their things.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the joint meeting with the FinCom.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion here? None.
at
Roll call vote.
7:29.
29, sorry.
7:29.
Veronica Cal,
Hi, good job.
And Marcia Burnett.
Right?
Pit stop.
Just pause for just 1 second.
Pause.
Yep. TCAM, we're pausing for 2 minutes for a bio break.
All right.
Thank you all very much for your patience. We are back reconvening at 7:42. We are at 5.4.
Barry Goodrich present.
Veronica Cal present.
And Laura Schiffern present. Okay, 5.4. Review, discuss special town meeting warrant articles. Karen?
Sure. So we have a few warrant articles to look at. These were at the suggestion. No, now we're all coughing. Suggestion of the select board, as well as a few other folks. Article 2. Now we got the dust.
I do have a question while you're coughing. And I think I asked the question. It's saying submitted by Board of Selectmen. Isn't it supposed to now be the select board?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was my question too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my error. So I just,
It's a cut.
I'll fix it.
Cut and paste.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, you're right.
Just want you to know I'm still awake.
So Article 2, well, we're going to follow the standard process. We are going to host it at the high school. They've confirmed that's the location. We'll have TCAM, and we have the space. I think we can enter as early as 5 p.m. to set up, and we have it until roughly 10 p.m. that night. Anything past that would incur some overtime charges. So hopefully we can do our best to keep time of the essence.
This shouldn't be that long.
Yeah, I think it should.
What time are we starting?
7 p.m.
Okay,
February 7th. February 25th, 7 p.m. So jumping down to Article 2, this is to see if the town would purchase and implement a financial tracking software. Being really succinct here, ClearGov is an industry leader that a lot of municipalities in the area use to manage their finances. Pepperell uses it, Groton uses it. It's a very interactive tool, and it would be highly advantageous for us to have a product like that that helps us better manage our budget process. It would create some transparency, and it would just be a really useful tool for the town. I did email back the folks from ClearGov because I had some sort of implementation questions. Like, are they the ones who integrate it? Or is it your town administrator that's entering in the budget numbers?
I thought they did.
He hasn't answered the question yet, so I do have some reservations there. It's still
maybe a setup fee?
A setup fee.
There is a setup fee.
Mhm.
And last time when we did get it, they were the ones entering.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's different now.
Yeah, I was new to the table on this. I know Nelson, your previous TA, had been working on this. I think it'd be
Well, we did a
Okay.
presentation.
We had a presentation.
Okay.
We had a presentation.
Yeah, so I'm a little behind the 8 ball on it. I have the presentations, loaded them into the SharePoint. I've got to spend some time to truly understand it. But I've heard from other, local leaders that it is a very strong product.
Yeah. Can I ask, no, you want to go first?
No, go.
Yeah.
I'll go after you.
Logistically speaking, is there the bandwidth right now for the town to be implementing this? And just a question for, I know you're not that long in this position, and just because we're going to be asking money from a very limited pool of money. And I know one of the things that happened last time was we did it and it wasn't implemented, from what I understand.
I don't know what happened.
So my one concern with putting this forward is if we're going to put money into this, and once again, we're in a position where we don't have staff time, hours, etc.
Yeah. So I think I'm less concerned about staff time because I think the upside to it is a real advantage.
Oh yeah, and I'm all behind the upside. I was pushing forward for this in the beginning.
My greater concern would be, let's say it's in the ballpark of $20,000 to $25,000, and then there's a subscription cost, and subscription costs add up at the end of the day. And it doesn't replace a town accountant. It doesn't reduce costs there.
Right.
It doesn't reduce treasurer collector needs for the town. It's just a really nice tool for budget management for the town.
Okay, so how about we pause on this until next Tuesday and hope that you get that information for us by next week.
I want to know conclusively that we're not going to be onboarding the CSV file. It's somewhat like it does it automatically.
And then also with the budget, can we fit the subscription fee in for the next year's budget? Because I mean, if it's $15,000, that's
Right.
So I think we just need to know what that's going to look like for next year.
My question is on the Vadar piece of this, and I did look at what you put in there, and it's not really
It's
clear to
clunky.
me.
Yeah, I was
It's
confused.
very clunky.
Yeah,
That would be, we already have that,
Yeah.
but we don't use it.
correct.
So in reference to you, even though we already have it, getting it working will also take staff time.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, I like ClearGov. I really do like
Yeah.
ClearGov, but, and I thought we had it.
Pepperell has it, Groton has it, so there's folks we can check with in those
Yeah.
communities.
So,
I'll do some more digging this
Okay.
week, so.
So we can rediscuss on Tuesday, because we have that
I
time.
think my concern is just financial long-term.
Yeah,
If we can afford it.
got it.
but it's the same thing with Vadar.
I
It
know.
doesn't matter.
The makeup of the
So-
article there, I think
Just say,
is fine. I think it's just identifying the product name and then the anticipated cost that we would need on the warrant article.
and we can remove it if it's outrageous
Correct.
when you come back.
My point is, you can never afford it if you don't afford it.
Oh, of course.
That's all.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next.
Article 3 is for an actuarial service study for the town to investigate the insurance liability for us to be compliant with retiree insurance. We're one of just maybe 3 or 4 communities in Massachusetts that does not offer retiree insurance, retiree benefits to its staff. I know Veronica is more wise to this than I on what it means for our employees.
It makes a difference to a retiree, a lot. And for people like the police who have been in town for a long time, if they are the only breadwinner that has the option to purchase retiree health, they can purchase at the rate that the town pays plus the employee amount, the full boat. They can buy into our health insurance, but they pay the full premium, where it's employee 25, town 75. This would allow the town to pay maybe not 75, but we need the study to find out what benefit we could provide so that it's maybe a 50-50 or,
Oh, you don't know the cost of that.
Well,
I have Nelson's email and I'm going to follow up on that person, but it was Eric Slagle had worked on it back in the day, and there was even a TA before that had worked on it.
I think it was Andy Sheehan
Yeah.
had done it. There was an actuarial study, and then Eric was gonna go, he investigated it, but never did it.
Yeah.
And I will say that for all the union contracts, it is an ask that comes in that we always say, well, it depends on so many other things that we can't agree to it in a contract, but we will investigate.
Yeah.
And we have done that over and over.
The cost of that insurance, for reference point, we had the actuarial study done in Dunstable 2 or 3 years ago, and 25 employees or less that were retirement eligible. It was like $1.1 million added to the budget in costs.
You have to pay into an escrow, and then it builds from there. And the amount there depends. So I don't know
For 20
what it would be here.
employees?
So again, in the greater fiscal picture, investing in something that we can't afford, is this the time for that? Not that I don't disagree with why we would want to do it. I just want to.
I'm asking for the actuarial study. And the Board of Selectmen prior to us voted in, and it's in the minutes, etc., that the funds from the sale of the water department building, and I believe town properties agreed with this as well, would be used to do this study
Yeah.
and to see what the amount was that had to be escrowed. We don't know that amount.
So hopefully you can get the amount that's supposed to be inserted.
Yep.
And we can discuss on Tuesday.
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
Number 4.
Number 4 is utilizing the proceeds from the sale of town property to set up a payment of legal services for town council. A good practice to do, because I think we're going to exceed that budget number, and this would be using proceeds from the sale of town property with,
How much was that gross that was received? Was it 3 something?
yeah, 3,
I don't know if I have the actual number, but that was in
Are we
May,
good with
correct?
doing that?
it's not for settlement purposes, it's to cover the costs of legal
Yeah,
fees.
legal.
Right.
Very defined.
And this is something that was put in place by the select board in around 2018. Wayne Miller was on the board. And it was put in place, and there was a fund, a
Is there
special
an
town
existing
meeting
fund?
fund, an existing fund, which we have used for Labor Council in order to be able to balance the budget last year for those, that's where the
This fund
came
already
from.
exists.
The GL already exists, correct.
And I think last year's, legal budget was higher than I've ever seen before.
And you encumbered money to cover it at the end of the year.
Right. I don't think I have
with this.
Well, for 540 Main Street, it was 240K. And then there were all the others that were put in place.
Yeah, so it was over 3.
Yeah.
So this one, again, as your interim town administrator, I think is a wise use of that money because, we spent some time with town council. There's more time to be spent. We're going to need some extra dollars in the piggy bank.
So, but that, I'm just curious, like, vote to establish a special purpose fund. It's already established?
No, it's gone. We used all the money in it.
Okay.
So it's special town meeting.
Every year first. Okay.
It's one of those STM.
Okay, no, I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure I understood the wording correctly.
Shifting to Article 5, this is to see if the town will vote to appropriate a sum of money to fund a 1-year collective bargaining agreement with the police department, using the remaining wages and ARPA funds. The amount is $53,500. This is for the wages owed to the police department.
53,500.
Yes, ma'am.
For FY 26.
Correct.
I wonder if we need FY 26.
I can input that.
Sum of money to fund a 1-year collective bargaining agreement.
FY 26.
Covering FY 26.
And so I guess, and this would be something for council, it says agreement with the police department. It's actually agreement with the police union. Correct.
That's true. Yes.
I bet I should input the union number.
Information.
Yeah, like CBA 123, just be respectful of that.
Something, yeah.
So that's Article 5. Article 6 is Article 5 has to pass in order for Article 6 to be eligible to vote. So that's why they're in that order. So this would be for us to authorize and approve a Proposition 2.5 override in the amount of $327,000 for the purpose of funding a collective bargaining agreement with the police union.
I'm going to frame the
Union for fiscal year 2027.
Because I just want to be clear, that number does not include our police chief.
Does not.
It does not.
I just want that
He's not in the
stated
union.
for public record.
Yeah, he's not a.
That was another
union
question.
member.
I got
He's
it.
not a union member, yeah.
Does that include?
It's technically for 14 police officers within the department.
Right.
The other articles I will grab here.
So the J-zone.
So I'll start with the Board of Health warrant article. This is essentially the Board of Health. Board of Health would like to receive the funds from its fines and have them placed into a revolving account. They did draft a warrant article that I'll blend into the document I had begun already. Nothing too remarkable here. It's not a fund we collect a ton of fines on. It's just they want to have control over the money that they oversee, and they're responsible for, writing the ticket, and they collect the fine.
Can I ask what those funds are currently being used for?
General fund budget.
So it would be for
free cash.
Free cash.
Those funds all go into free cash.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge amount. Hasn't been a lot.
So it doesn't, this isn't funds that go to support salaries of Board of Health employees.
No, it's free cash.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
So This one I think would be important to have town council review and make sure there aren't any revolving account implications.
Because it also seemed to indicate changing the name of a revolving account, an existing one.
There's rules around that.
Yeah, so that's where our town council's wisdom will come into play.
Are you talking about this?
Correct.
Well, it says operating and program costs of the Board of Health, including the documentation to the recycling center. So it's all for, it may go into the general fund, but it's for the use of.
But it wouldn't go into the general.
It wouldn't go into the
They want
general
it shifted
fund.
to the revolving.
That's what this is.
So they have it currently, like if they collect a fine for illegal dumping of a mattress and they charge that person $500, the money goes into the town's free cash.
Okay, and they want it to.
They want it to go into their like operations funds for either fuel at the recycling center
Okay.
or.
But there's a separate recycling center?
I thought they were having the name of that changed. I read.
Okay.
Yeah, so by striking the existing revolving fund number one, recycling, and inserting in place, therefore, the following revolving fund number one, Board of Health.
Have Adam check this.
Article connection, was it? Or-
That was just the input, yeah. So that one is nominal in terms of its impact to the town, but we will have town council review it
Yeah.
and I'll input it into the Word doc.
Okay.
Shifting then to, I'll jump on the town clerk article that we received. This one is from town clerk Harrison in regards to shifting some of the, or identifying some of the general powers and duties of the town clerk and calling out different responsibilities. I don't know the legal impacts of this, so I may certainly visit with our town council on this to make sure I understand it correctly for you guys, and perhaps bring back some feedback for that next meeting.
Okay.
I will say there is a highlight about record access officer responsibility, some funding for elections to the amount of $20,000, and some more ironclad naming of, I think I had a selectman, I think it's supposed to be select board, but I don't.
That's in all of our
That's been all, so, I think maybe he was just reminding me to do that, so, and then he had some other, replacing words like non-substantive with a hyphen and insure with an ensure, so, some sort of clerical words there at the end to review, so.
Hopefully we can have some feedback by Friday
Yeah, this,
from town council so that we can review
Yeah.
over the weekend.
I think that would be good.
So we can, because the idea is to approve next Tuesday to post.
Yeah. I've handed it to the town council, so he has it from our meeting earlier, so I'll follow up with him tonight or tomorrow to get on the top of his inbox and get some feedback for us.
Okay.
I guess yeah. Aren't the town clerk's duties defined by Mass General Law?
They are in the master law.
Yeah, so we don't really need to change.
Yeah, it might be one that's more baked out for an annual town meeting, to make sure it's
Okay.
in honor of the current Mass General Law and the town charter and things of that nature.
And the charter review process,
Yeah, what about the charter review?
council has feedback on that, and we had a charter review committee
Yeah.
that met.
Yeah, that might be some of the collective feedback we get from town council
Okay.
for our direction there.
All right.
I can't guarantee that it ends up on the warrant, but I guess I'll leave it to, town council to give us some feedback. So,
Okay.
Definitely.
last but not least is a select board TESA lease warrant article. This is trying to get the select board to enter into a 50-year lease agreement for with the towns and national youth soccer associations.
We already agreed. The board with TESA already agreed.
You did
Put this on.
to put this on. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
November 17th or 19th,
It was-
something like that.
Okay.
It was essentially because in order to apply for some of the grants they wanted to apply for, they needed more than a short lease.
Okay. So then if this has already been discussed and voted on a select board, then it's just going to carry it to the warrant article.
But the wording should be reviewed by town council
Yes.
because I don't know.
Yeah. I'm feel, as you know, stated, I'll put all these into that one singular doc and say, you know, Adam, MTC, council folks, give us some feedback. You know, we need it shortly.
What was this one for?
That was the list of towns using ClearGov in the area. So it's a lot of great little towns in our area. So that's all I had for warrant articles. I wasn't trying to be too brisk, but hopefully that
So
covered.
finalize it next Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a world that we could also do it the night of 2/9, because I can have it, if Adam gets me feedback by Friday, put it all together, and you see it 2/9 before the school meeting.
Okay.
And you guys, I will have sent it out before then, so hopefully you will have had, you know,
Okay.
late Sunday night, you know, if you're up like a night owl like I am sometimes, and you could have been like, all right, this looks good.
Okay.
You could vote to say, we're good to go.
So we need to put it on the agenda for, agenda.
We'll put it on the agenda.
I will for Monday, because that
Okay.
Monday, that meeting's at 6, so we could meet at 5:30. It really should be no debate. It should just be the select board approves.
Okay, so,
But you and I can chat about that and sort of hammer that out, you know,
for when you want to post.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that makes okay, then I can, you know,
If
disseminate
you
to you
guys
guys.
agree with that, we'll
As long as
try
we
to
have
do
the
it.
time to review.
It'd be up to you guys to review it Sunday night. That's the
And-
key.
And I guess the question is if do we think there'll be any deliberation necessary?
I
It
don't,
depends on what we get back from council.
yeah.
I
And,
mean, but I will say this, you could put it on a meeting, and if we're like, no, we need time to discuss,
It'll go
have it
the
on
next day.
Tuesday.
Right.
Have it
Oh,
on
no, it
Tuesday
won't.
also?
If it's not on the agenda, because you gotta post before noon on Friday for Tuesday.
we could always take no action on Tuesday.
Yeah. If we've already done it on
We've already
Monday.
Oh,
done it.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Item satisfied, take no
Yeah.
action.
So are we posting for Monday night then?
Yeah,
And we might be able to do it at the school. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I'll figure
three
some
of
of the logistics out for that.
Okay.
no,
But-
we really can't.
So you're gonna be virtual?
Because how am I gonna call to order? No. I may or may not be, but I mean,
I'll ponder that. What you and I will.
okay, just logistics.
Yeah.
The logistics.
Life.
Very good.
Great.
So are we down to 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, we cruised right along there. Appreciate that.
Don't jinx it.
Oh, no, we have important, yeah, sorry.
We still have to go back into executive.
Sorry, no,
I
ignore
just
me.
put that in, yesterday, I guess, so why don't we take some time with that? And I have the appendices A, B, and C. I'll put that in, so it's in the SharePoint for, Tuesday,
For 210.
for 2:10.
So-
Is that okay?
Which one? 5-6
5-6
Moving 5.6
to 210?
to
to
210.
2:10. Because
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have had time to read what's
I
there.
have not.
Okay, so and I'll add, there are 3 appendices. Appendix A, B, and C.
Okay.
And I, will add those in.
5-7.
5.7.
Yeah, you
Does
have,
everybody have my spreadsheet?
I
Yes.
have it somewhere
Okay.
here in this pile.
Just in general, you know, we mentioned the police officer, folks, their union for the 53,500, at special town meeting. Library staff skipped their salary increase back in July.
Yeah.
That currently results in a $13,226, $26, you know, money back wages, if you will. That's the phrase I'm going to use to identify funds that people have received, but then it stopped. And, you know, here we are now to try to, you know, clean up there. So library, you know, just 13.2. Non-union staff, you know, the total amount for them would be 4432.66. Not, you know, a huge amount again, but you had a good number of folks forego salary. They actually received the salary increase and then it was paused on them in September. Also, for the utilization of ARPA funds is the treasurer collector stipend for their work on the audit committee. Presentation, report, responsibilities for organizing that. And then as previously discussed, the highway superintendent, the $3,000 to cover additional snow and ice OT, wage costs as a result of, incurred expenses there.
So we have to vote on that, on this one, after we get the MOU. Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
We do, as of late this afternoon, the town accountant said you have about $93,955 in there.
That's what, that's exactly right. Well, I don't know if it's exactly right, but it matches my number.
Yeah. So let me just do some quick math for you guys here.
So are we, well, we already motioned some of this stuff.
Yep,
We already said.
treasurer collector has been motioned. Police officers are contingent on the town meeting vote. That leaves you with library staff, back wages.
No, but we did the library.
No, we haven't.
We discussed.
We discussed.
We didn't, we haven't voted.
And the library actually never even received theirs to start.
No, they didn't. They
No,
never took it.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
They
Okay,
didn't,
all right.
they
So,
didn't get any
okay.
because the trustees had put it in the budget that way.
Right.
But I think that's the correct number though.
Yep, that was from the
Okay.
library director.
Okay.
Part of my using back
Oh,
wages.
it's okay.
that way,
It's so many different scenarios happened, so
Yeah.
it's
Right.
impossible
Do
to
we
know the
need a
difference.
motion now for
Yes.
the library?
I think we did.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to allocate $13,225.68 from unused ARPA funds for library staff for FY 26.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. So we've already done the non-union staff.
No.
Oh, we have
No,
to
we
do all
have
these
to do
motions.
that one.
Okay, yes, please.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to allocate $4,432.66 from unused ARPA funds for non-union staff for FY 26 wages.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I believe that the non-union staff in this motion did receive their increase up until September.
Correct.
And then it was
Yes.
pulled back.
And you have that number on
Yep,
the
so-
other spreadsheet.
Yeah, within the spreadsheet, the treasurer collector, it was stopped as of 9/1,
Mhm.
and then you'll see the delta there.
Okay, good.
Um,
All right.
Rather than go through, all the staff members,
Yeah.
maybe you say as presented within the spreadsheet.
So
and this
I'll
is
amend that
available.
to say as presented by the treasurer collector.
A second.
Okay. So you amended your first motion and it was accepted. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye.
For my paper keeping purposes, I owe an MOU to the treasurer collector for the $1,500 stipend. And then we need to create an MOU with our labor council for the highway superintendent. Police is dependent upon February 25 vote.
Yeah. And we have left $18,297.66.
I 18,296.66 because I did 93,955.
You're right.
I thought you were a math teacher.
I
Was. Past tense.
Yeah, so that total expenditure is, it's what the ARPA money is intended for.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really making sure we don't lose anything to the federal government. So
Yeah.
just for those listening at home, this is exactly what we should be doing for our folks. So I'll work with the treasurer collector and payroll for how this is dispersed out on timing.
I'll email the trustees of the library.
Yeah,
And I'll
and
CC you.
I'm probably going to host a department head meeting on Thursday. I texted Sabrina to see if she could help me schedule that while she's out of the office right now. And I'll mention that as some good news. I think we could use some good news right now. So,
And really, if we had
gotten the go-ahead to go ahead and spend them, we would have put
That's
this,
probably what we were doing.
we would have put it in for employees.
Yeah.
In the budget in the spring.
So it'll be like a savings account for them.
Great.
Okay.
So that satisfies 5.7. Good
All
work.
right, yeah. 6.1.
Oh, that's me, huh?
Yes, it is.
All right. Been an exciting month or so for you guys. I hope it's been enjoyable for everybody. Learned a lot and continue to take good feedback and try to improve for the town. As a whole, it's been really focused on budget update, working internally with a little group of the treasurer collector, the assessor, and our CBIZ accountant, just to make sure that we're following the debt, we're following insurance costs, the revenue collections, things like that. The assessor in terms of how tax and real estate taxes, stuff like that's shaking out for us. On the report, you'll see that I sort of solidified the $500,000 free cash number, waiting for the exact dollar amount, but she's been pretty adamant about that. As part of the TA goals, I've been trying to work with different committees. So FinCom, Conservation, FinCom's been enjoyable. I'm hoping that my beating the horn of 2.5% is something in their wheelhouse for acceptance. So hopefully we continue to work with them. I think it was pretty productive tonight to catch up with them. I have met with the police department, both in regards to their compensation plan for the override, but also with the police chief to discuss his soon-to-be expiring contract. He's gathered some information, and so have I, about regional salary trends, and I'm hoping for some more formal market data in the next few weeks. As you saw tonight, super knowledgeable, super loyal. He's a great asset for the town as well as the department. Broadly speaking, he is significantly below the median range of towns this size, and with the number of officers under his supervision. So I'm hopeful we can find a way to push forward with him. On an exciting note, I love good news. The police department does have an offer of a donation of a police motorcycle. The chief had shared that someone is willing to donate a police motorcycle and all the fittings so that one of our officers could be, a guy on a motorcycle, which is kind of cool, a guy or girl. So I really appreciate that strong work in connecting with someone who's willing to donate that, not an inexpensive donation. But
is it anonymous?
That I haven't gotten an answer on that yet.
Okay.
But I am hopefully to get like an infographic one page to say this is what it would look like, with the Townsend logo on it, and when we could potentially anticipate it going into rotation. So that's something that I'm going to work with the chief on. But this donator is very excited to share that with the town. Looking back last week, we did in fact have a snow emergency on January 26, 2026. We closed the town hall that day. I appreciate everyone's sort of collaborative effort. I was doing it from a phone for the most part from MMA that Friday. It doesn't happen a lot, but it serves as a reminder that, we need to have good communication with our department heads and making sure the library is closed, senior center, so everyone's informed the same way, and that we relay that to our residents. Town clerk's office was great in coordinating, the rescheduling of a handful of meetings, and realizing TCAM is a great asset to the town, and I don't want them driving here just to set up a Zoom per se. So I think that's important to note for future, hopefully not as big as storms in the future. Our department folks were great in terms of relaying the news to their staff. What else?
And was it on the website?
Yeah, we had a blurb on the town website saying town hall closed.
Do we have a Facebook yet? No.
We're working on Facebook, so that's my next thing is getting the Facebook. I think I may just start a new account for you guys, just a clean slate.
Yeah.
And I know you sort of gave me the green light, but I sort of kicked around the idea of the previous page, but maybe it's just a new start.
It's fine.
So if any of you are on social media, or maybe I'll link to the police department first and the fire department because they have pages, and then maybe people will sort of cross-pollinate, like Kids Country has their own page,
A lot of them do.
right? You know, and maybe some local restaurants and things like that, just say, hey, you know, I'm new
The
to,
library.
yeah.
Tons
So
of stuff.
that'd be something fun to do, and I'd really like to announce special town meeting, the penny policy, things like that.
Yeah.
Up there. One last thing about the snowstorm, we were notified that Atwood Acres, who we're not responsible for, but did have two furnaces fail during the storm. Our fire folks went over there and tried to kind of, I think, MacGyver it. I don't know if they were able to help, but they were a resource to those folks, which is great for our fire department. Shifting to a school district update, I shared the news on a few different levels in regards to the school district. They have voted to keep Ashby Elementary School closed. I think that's disappointing for the residents of Ashby. I think it really makes it challenging to be a little rural community without a school. So I'm not sure what the impacts for that are, just fundamentally as a town. I shared a letter with all of you in terms of support for both the municipality as well as the school district. My goal is to have that letter ready for you for February 10th to either sign in person or electronically, so that we can share our disappointment that there isn't a better path forward for both Ashby as well as our budget constraints. The Pepperell Select Board, through their town administrator, shared a pretty strong letter stating that reopening Ashby was not in their wheelhouse to fund, and the impact that it would have on Pepperell's municipal budget. So I think it's worth reading. I think I shared it with everybody for their own records. February 9th is the school budget hearing. It's in a hybrid format, so I plan to attend in person. It sounds like we may, at least a quorum of us may attend in person as well. I'll let the folks at the school district know to hold the seat for me and for us as well. So I'll look to schedule that meeting. Last few things, MMA conference. Thank you for letting me attend with colleagues from other small communities. Learned a lot about collective bargaining, fiscal growth in the DLS report. It looks like the state of Massachusetts is sort of trending downward financially. So it's going to be sort of all ideas on the table here. I sort of gleaned that from Maura Healy's speech, as well as some of the presenters who, one of them was a Townsend high school grad, which is cool.
I went to go to school with his sister.
Yeah, so he spoke very, very well in terms of what's going on with the finances of the town.
Lois Howgate's Doug, I think his name was Doug Howgate. Do you know Lois?
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get the app and download those presentation materials, and we should probably share around.
Yeah. There was some really good stuff there.
Yeah. And good stuff to use for your own internal committees and boards.
Yeah. There was good housing stuff.
Yeah.
For the housing trust.
Yeah. So. One department that I'd like to touch on for this report is our land use conservation team. They're working really hard. There's a lot going on. It feels like with the colder weather, it must be builders are out, looking for stormwater management plans, A&Rs, things of that nature. Conservation's been busy with some different projects in town in review. Unfortunately, there was a cutting of trees incident down near
the harbor.
That is a Townsend Historical Society owned parcel. And that tree cutting took place across 6 different parcels and several different owners. The cut was not approved. Conservation is going to meet with those stakeholders to determine a path forward. I'm not an expert in trees in terms of what the repercussions are for that. I do recognize that conservation went down there, sort of after the fact, and tried to understand what was going on. Our conservation members are going to try to figure out what to do. There is a reporter asking for information in regards to this matter. I am going to reach out on the town's behalf. I shared that letter with all you folks on the SharePoint and just say, I appreciate you reaching out. I think the best path forward is to meet with the next conservation meeting and ask a question of those folks because they're most in the know. I hope that's.
I think they could also meet with the Historical Society administrator who apparently requested the cuts be done because of trees falling.
I think I would encourage everybody to go to, the conservation meeting is online from last week.
I watched it.
Yeah, so you can
I
also,
watched it.
you can direct the reporter to that recording also. It's
Yeah.
on the Townsend town website.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to catch up with them and just, I'm guessing hopefully they're aware of the recording. They're gonna take some time to review it. I wish I wish it was more, sort of process wise done.
Yeah.
I get that some trees are, in tough shape. I think anytime we get close to really sensitive parcels, it gets challenging as a town, as a
Seems like the
commission.
processes weren't followed.
Yeah, so we'll have to, lean into our conservation folks to better understand what can be done in the future to help reduce this type of thing from happening again.
Absolutely.
I will say that there was money set aside for education of town residents when Autumn was the conservation agent prior to Colby, for just things like this, to be able to put things, stuff them in the tax envelopes or whatever, to notify people who may not be aware that things need to be done a certain way, or what the Conservation Commission does. It was for education of the public purposes.
Yeah.
So there's money there.
Is
Might
it
have
still
been
there?
more than five. Oh yeah, it's still there. It's a special town meeting article.
Do you want me, I'll circle back to Concom about that if you want me to, I'll liaison to them.
Yeah, they should know.
Yeah, I think it's just, we gotta, that group will help rectify the issue. It may result in some nice, new trees. I don't know. I don't want to really opine on what I think
It's
could
private, civil.
happen. Yeah, that's up to them. So,
Multiple landowners all gonna debate it.
yeah. Last but not least, Jason Silva, town administrator from Dunstable, joined me last Friday for several hours. Introduced him to the staff that was here. Caught up with Veronica. She was here that day. And, sort of coming up with a game plan for his experience and how it can support Townsend. You saw it on the slideshow earlier, though I had a couple errors in terms of what I had cut and paste out of Excel. He's really savvy with presentation and sort of process stuff. And I think he's excited about being involved in working with you guys through me, as well as he's always available for an email or call on your own. He's seen a lot of things, and he
How
can
long has he been there?
He's been in Dunstable now. He's coming up on his 6th year. And before that, he was in the town of Marblehead. And for reference, Marblehead's almost faced with a $7 million deficit this year. So if you think,
It used to be a very wealthy town.
It was actually part of the MMA conference. I know the MMA actually has asked for the state to tap into the rainy day fund, which has $8 billion in it.
Yeah.
Because the towns, all 351 of them are
bleeding.
Yeah, and the state hasn't done their audit yet. Wasn't that voted to be done by the townspeople? The state?
Oh yeah, but that hasn't happened. But that's the audit of the legislature.
Yeah.
It's not an
It's
audit.
not financial.
Oh, it's not financial?
Well, the finances are part of it, but it's of the legislature, is my understanding.
so he's going to be great. He's excited, and I'm hoping he can come back most Fridays. I'm going to try to see if I can wrangle him to come over here and spend a few hours. And
Was he here this?
he was just for a few hours. Yeah, he's going to try to come back this coming Friday.
Okay.
So if he is, I'll email our thread and say, Jason will be here from 10 to 1.
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah. So really looking forward to working with him, especially with the budget strategies and things, as well as sort of all matters. Maybe police chief ideas, because Dunstable's faced with the same contract negotiations that Townsend is for police chief stuff. So some good senses there. That's all I have for my town administrator report.
Okay.
That was quick, but figured it'd be sensitive to your patience and sitting here for a while.
All right, 6.2 liaison reports, which I hope we change that next week. From the name of the ward. Mart administrator report.
It says an appointment. Oh, I think it means because I attend, I'm the Mart liaison, and so I attended the meeting that they had last, and they've appointed Bruno Fisher left, or is leaving. I don't know the timing. But the new administrator is named Stephen Oldfield, so it was, the purpose of the meeting was to introduce him to all the MART team, well, the people from all the towns, who are MART liaisons, and then they voted to appoint him. So,
can I ask the chair and interim town administrator with regards to reports from board liaisons? Is there a reason that we have to spell out beforehand if we want to give an update on any of our liaison assignments, if it's not something that is we're going to deliberate or vote on? So if I wanted to give I just got a really important update from the school committee.
Right.
I would like to be able to do in here, and if it's not going to be deliberated or voted on, is everybody okay with that?
it has always been fine in the past, and
Yeah,
I am
right.
okay with that.
Okay, as long as there's no deliberating vote.
We got a complaint about it, so that's why we started
Yeah,
having
and
to
I
put
just want-
everything on there.
And I mean, I can, if you would like me to check with council before we go back to that, but I believe if we're not deliberating, we're liaison to these boards, we should be able to report.
I know, I have an announcement I want to make.
It was done this way for years without the listing. You know, if someone knew ahead of time, sure, list it.
Because
But
I
if
do
you
believe
don't-
when the violation was, it was when we were having Nelson do all the responses. And I think council would come back and said, no, you're allowed to give a liaison report.
You are allowed.
Without.
Yeah.
You've always been allowed in the past.
So
Other
I
towns
leave it
do
to you. If you think that's
Well,
okay.
If you have one, I have one.
I'm
It's just
okay.
an
We're not
announcement.
deliberating.
Yeah, no. So I was just gonna say that, you know, I know that we all heard the information about Ashby Elementary, and
Yeah.
I do think, you know, our board has done a good job of placing that in the school committee's hands and staying out of that, but it is a hard thing to hear.
Okay,
So that was,
no deliberation.
and then also just, I did attend the conservation meeting, and they're aware if they need any help with anything or help from our board, I'll bring it to you guys.
Okay.
And continue to do that if necessary.
And the only thing I have for you is on PBCC. Hopefully our last meeting will be this coming Friday, and I'll have a report next Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you. A letter from Pepperell Select Board to School District, I think you've sent that to.
Covered it, yeah, and shared it with you guys, but just wanted to have it in, you know, TA reports as
Okay.
a formal letter.
I went up instead of down, sorry. 6.3, and I did, honestly, didn't have my glasses on. Announcements, communications, and volunteer response forms, but
I think we appointed so many people.
yeah, and that's.
How do we
supposed to
still have a
be
list?
That's supposed to be today's update.
Yeah. So for board and committee member vacancies, we still have Agricultural Commission, Audit Committee, Board of Water Commissioners, Capital Planning, Commission on Disability, Community Preservation Committee, Conservation Commission, Energy Committee, Housing Authority Representative, Housing Authority vacancy, Recycling Committee, Town Properties Committee, West Townsend Meeting Room Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals vacancy, full member to 2030.
West Townsend what?
Reading room committee,
Oh, no.
No, we're probably not.
Cross it out.
And same the.
Do we have to disband that committee though?
CPC.
Well, there's not gonna be a building, you will.
We probably have to figure out the logistics of that.
Also the CPC committee, the community
Did
preservation.
we just finish that, right?
That's
We just did that today.
Okay, Zoning Board of Appeals, full member to 2030, full member to
Yeah, they
2028,
need,
and an associate member.
yeah,
if you
they
can
need,
help them find a member, they would
they
really
really
appreciate that.
need.
Maybe we'll all see, reach out
Any
to our,
attorneys out
all those-
there? Any
all those people
with
contacting me
background
with feedback
zoning
on town
bylaws?
stuff.
It's
If you
actually
wanna join
really
the ZBA,
interesting.
Just start
It is
reading
very
that
Really
list.
interesting group.
Sometimes it's too interesting.
Yeah, they have some fascinating topics in front of them, like just.
No, it's important, it's really important stuff too for the town, for
Yeah.
anybody who's listening.
Yeah,
It's really important things to get figured out, so.
okay. 6.4, next meeting date. So I think we're gonna announce the 9th,
The
because
9th,
we
yeah.
have to
I'm gonna
post,
post that.
and, which is at, say, 6:30?
Well, 6 PM
No.
is the school
Oh,
meeting.
I'm sorry, 5:30?
Yeah, I think 5:30 and
We
the
need
top
time to get over there. Right?
5 PM.
Here.
5 PM?
Yeah, and the only item on the agenda
Okay,
God willing,
That's
maybe
fine.
more.
okay, and then, so a full agenda will be on 2:10. And when are we gonna start, and will we have executives then?
We will. Jane from
We will.
Town Council is going to join us. FinCom is scheduled to meet with us as well. That's supposed to be another joint
Well, that's
meeting.
gonna be 6.
That'll be at 6 p.m. Jane would probably be,
5? Or before?
you guys want to have her before? So I'm thinking of FinCom, and if they haven't met with many other departments between now and then, there may not be much of an update from them. And my update to them would just be that I've met with Town Council to come up with a strategy.
And then we would discuss the hiring freeze. It's the only thing we would want to discuss.
Yeah, the hiring freeze. So maybe it's,
It's quick.
it's 6 p.m. with FinCom, and that could really just be about a 30-minute, hey, here's what a hiring freeze means. I shared it with the department heads. I got some pushback on, police, highway, whatever. And, how do you want me to handle that? I think we have to honor it across the board. But I won't deliberate too far into that. But I think 6 p.m. with FinCom, with a report an update from me for hiring freeze and a potential motion and vote for that topic.
Okay, well, we're still gonna have a full agenda. So do you want to start with FinCom at 6 and then pray we don't have a 5-hour meeting?
Yeah, would you want to meet at 5 to knock a couple other things out of the park?
Can you guys give me another day? I mean, at 6 would be, it's okay. If I can't come 5, I'll come 6. There's a chance I won't be able to get here before 6, but I'll know tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Let's
enough
just
time.
start
Yeah.
at 6 then. Oh, you'll know tomorrow.
Yes, if I can start.
At 6 could lead to like 10 p.m., which I know is
Yes.
late for folks.
Especially if we have executive with Jane.
Yeah.
But I can tell you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Email it out. and we'll
Because
go
that
from there.
one won't get posted till Friday at noon.
Yep.
Okay?
So 5 or 6.
So I'm just gonna say Tuesday, February 10th, time to be determined.
Okay,
Sounds good.
I will
But
be remote.
Monday,
that
the
day.
9th,
You're gonna be
will
remote,
be
okay,
at 5. Okay. All right, then, 6.5, is there a motion?
Sorry. I value good issue to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Veronica Kelly, yes.
Okay.
Second.
And for the discussion.
Need more Skittles.
Bad.
Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Value good to try. So I'm updating my calendar. I'm multitasking too much.
Okay. And Laura Schifrin, aye. So we are now going to
7.2 executive session.
7.2 executive. And we will be adjourning the meeting from executive. We're not coming back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I, Laura Schifrin, move that we go into executive session at 8:35 p.m. pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. If an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and I, Laura Schifrin, so declares, and it is in reference to the fire union. Is there a second?
Second, Veronica Cal.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Value good to try.
And Laura Schifrin, aye.